But we all want to eat. You ain't got to wait on me.
I know. I'm gonna get up and sit down.
All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. And they pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures for enemy think you have eternal life, and there they which testify of me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you. The Abba, there is one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had to believe Moses, you would believe me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my word? All esteem and praise to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's hit this Psalm 66, 68, and 18 real quick, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Mom.
You have ascended on high. You have taken led captivity captive. You have received gifts from men for the rebellious also, that Yahuwah Elohim might dwell. Baruch the Lord, daily load us, the Elohim of our salvation, Selah. Our Elohim, the Elohim of salvation, unto Yahuwah the Lord, the issues from death. What's good, man? So yeah, most of y'all know it's a hurricane finna come through here. So at the time it's supposed to come through Jacksonville, man, whether it still be a hurricane, Yahuwah knows. But there's a strong likelihood that we won't have power. So we're going to go ahead and do Wednesday service now. If Yahuwah permit, we'll do service tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, I'm going to be unrestrained, meaning that I will not work in the confines of time. I'm going to go as long as Yahuwah allows me to continue this evening. Some of y'all know I put in a group chat, you know what I'm talking about, a particular record that I had just came across. Shalom, my G. You know what I'm saying? And that's the sign is the word. And through that particular record and some of the things that are mentioned in that record, you know what I'm talking about? It was really the epitome and hallmarking of everything that we've been preaching for the last 11 years. Honestly, as I was getting ready to set up this room, I just came out of Clubhouse room with a conglomerate of pussy niggas, cowards, idiots, and clowns and fools. You know what I'm talking about? Who were, truth be told, encapsulated the very things that have grieved my soul for an extended period of time. And I believe that I have reached a particular type of point that these niggas gonna have to see a particular side of me that they probably did not even know existed, because these niggas make me sick. You know what I'm talking about? They grieve me to my soul, at ends and bounds that niggas couldn't believe. And the things that caused that to agitate me even the more over the course of the last week. And what I told y'all, of course, we were looking at the issues of death. And I began to think, and you know, I mentioned to y'all a lot of the people who I know who done passed away. And even in the course that I mentioned to y'all, it was certain people that came into my mind who I forgot passed away. And when I mentioned to you, most of these people who passed away, these are not just people who I just knew in passing. Most of these people I had real life interactions with over an extended period of time. You understand? And it's a lot of niggas, man, that I don't know what you picked the word up for, but I know what I picked it up for. And I'm going to mention something that I mentioned to you before about a blood brother, man. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Because that's what I just had to tell these goofy niggas who I just came out the room with, bro. I'm telling you, man, these niggas don't care about y'all, man. I'm telling you, these niggas don't care about y'all. They don't care about your soul. They don't care about your life. They don't care about what you're going through. They don't care about none of that. All these niggas care about is having scholarly conversations and stupid things like this. Man, you good, my G, man. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you, bro. I know you got a lot going on. You good. You know what I'm talking about? These niggas make me sick, bro. Straight up and down. But let's come over here to Matthew 16, man. Of course, if you've seen the record, she say the sign is the word, right? It's been plenty of times where I done showed y'all, we done went through this text, man, looking at certain things, man. And I tell you, like, the people missed it. Now, I'm going to tell you something with this old goofball, cornball nigga who coming in later so they can hear. So the young lady asked me, do I believe that Christ was in the Torah? I say, oh, yeah, absolutely. He in the whole book. Genesis to Malachi. Whole book. You know what I'm saying? We stand on that. You know what I'm saying? Nigga asked me for an example. I gave him Proverbs 24:16, just kept it moving. This thing say, okay, what school did you learn that from? I say, I ain't learned that from no school, bro. Oh, you lying. I'm going to tell y'all this here, man, because I don't mention this all the time because it ain't nothing to mention. You know what I'm saying? To be quite honest. When it comes down to the gospel of Yahushua HaMashiach, I did not sit down at the foot of any man. You know what I'm talking about? Nor did I sit down and watch anybody's videos. See, I'm going to tell y'all something real, man, so you can understand what type of time that I'm on, man. I was not looking for the word. I ain't never been in no church. I ain't get out of prison looking for no word. I wasn't thinking about Yahuwah. I wasn't thinking about nothing other than I need to get some money. Shalom, Brother Marlon. I need to get some money and get out my mama's house. I just came home from prison. And this man came and revealed himself to me and came and found me. You know what I'm talking about? I was not looking for him. So understand this. When this man came and found me and then revealed himself to me, as forth as in regard to the testimony of Yahushua is the Ruach of prophecy, and where the Ruach of prophecy exists, everlasting life exists, and to take hold and grab to it. But that's what type of time I'm on, bro. I do not shy about that. And I ain't got a lot of nan nigga, man. You know what I'm talking about? All you got to do is check my resume. If you think I've been sitting down learning from a man, I ain't get this gospel from no man. I ain't confer with flesh and blood to get it. You know what I'm talking about? All esteem to Abba and Shamahim. That's where I got it from. And I got it not for the purpose of me to boast and to lift myself up over people, but to share that life-giving information with any and every person who I come across, that they can take hold to it, that they might receive the life-giving gift of the Ruach HaKodesh and live forever. And if you ain't on that type of time, then you can get your goofy behind from around me, man. I'm not on anything other. I told East this last night, I'm going to say it again. Man, the only thing that I'm going to be focused on as forth as Yahuwah give me breath is the exaltation of the fact that death has been conquered and destroyed and everlasting life has been given unto man through the personage of Yahushua HaMashiach. And if you're not on that type of time, bro, you can unsubscribe. You ain't got to come around here. I do not care. I'm not coming with anything else. I ain't talking about anything else. You know what I'm talking about? Because let me be honest with you. Most of y'all don't know me in real life, man. If you want to talk about, oh, you want to be on some revolutionary type time builder, boy, I'm with all that, my nigga, in real life. You know what I'm talking about? Before I was in the word, man, you niggas want to do something, you niggas want to ride, boy, I'm down to die by that, boy. If you niggas was really wanting to do something, man, I'm willing to lay my life down for that, man. But I ain't got to get on here and talk all that tough guy stuff, bro, because I know niggas ain't on that for real. So, man, I know niggas not on that for real. So there ain't no point in talking about that. I ain't got to prove nothing to nobody, man. Ain't nobody out here nothing to prove nothing to. So what we're going to do is we're going to exalt and uplift the name of Elohim and the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, that his name may be praised and esteemed forever, that men might repent, that they might live Kadash in faith, receive the Ruach HaKodesh and live forever. And if you ain't looking for that information, man, boy, this ain't the play for you. And I mean that, boy. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not with it, man. These niggas out here, man, they make me sick. I hate these niggas, bro. I'm not even finna cat. I hate these niggas, man, because they hate God. Straight up and down, man. So I hate them too. The niggas make me sick. Because ain't nobody getting nothing from what these niggas out here talking about, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody getting nothing from what these people out here talking about, man. Nothing. Let me keep on going, man. Matthew 16:1, man. Come on with it, man. The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came tempting, desiring him that he would show them a sign from Shamahim. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, you say, fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, foul weather, today, for the sky is red and lowering. O hypocrite, you can turn the face of the sky, but you cannot the sign of the times. A wicked and adulterous generation seek after a sign, and there shall be no sign given unto it but the sign of the prophet Jonah. And he left them and departed. Like I said, man, like Shorty named her record, the sign is the word. We're going to talk about signs, man. Why would you do that? And you know why the sign is the word? We're going to get to it. But look here, right? He said, man, you can't discern the sign of the times. Let's look at this First Chronicles 12:32 real quick, like, man. Yeah. First Chronicles 12 and 32. You know what I'm saying? And the sons of Issachar, which that had understanding of the times to know what Yasharal ought to do. The heads of them, 200, all their brethren at their commandment. So if y'all remember, what does Issachar mean? Who can tell me what Issachar mean? The parable of the talents, not necessarily spiritual gifts, but the fourth is going out there preaching the word and winning souls. Stop it. I don't need you to go this way. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. You ain't got to do all that. You ain't got to do all that. It's unnecessary. So remember what Issachar means, right? That Elohim has given me my hire, my payment. He done paid me. Those who've been paid, they understand the sign of the times. But what you've been paid with, a little bit of word, man. Paid with a little bit of word. Let's look at that parable of the talents, man, that brother talking about real quick, like, man. I think that's in Matthew, I believe. This nigga, man, when we was on here, man, this nigga asked me about, Hebrew Israelites and all this other stuff. And I'm like, bro, I don't even participate. Matthew 25 and 14. I don't even participate in them type of conversations. So as the man talking to me, man, I say, bro, if you believe we Israelites, fine. If you don't believe we Israelites, fine. I don't care. I say, you need to be a son of Elohim, because whether you an Israelite or not, and you ain't a son of Elohim, you going to hell. You know what I'm talking about? All these niggas want to talk about are there vowels in Hebrew, and you can't prove you're an Israelite, and all this other type of stuff, man. I don't even know how y'all even sit around and entertain these type of people, because boy, I had to straighten this nigga 4-5 times. Like, bro, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but you're talking to a grown man. You better watch your mouth. You know what I'm saying? And I'm getting straight to the point. This thing, I told this nigga straight up and down, boy, I'm a Yahudim, boy, circumcised in the heart, man. If you think I'm preferring to the flesh, that ain't what I'm talking about. This stupid nigga still said this stuff, man, talking about you going in your flesh. And I told them niggas, like I'm finna say to y'all now, these niggas don't believe the word, man. These niggas don't love Yahuwah. These niggas don't trust in the word. They don't care about any of that. They don't care. And y'all can fool around with these jackasses if you want to, but you're going to lose your life messing with these people, man. Well, this is critical, man, what we got going on out here, man. It's critical out here, man. Your soul on the line, bro. Your soul is on the line, man. This ain't no game. This ain't no joke. Man, Matthew 25 and 14, man. For the Malkuth of Shamahim is as a man traveling into a far country, called his own servants and delivered them unto them his goods. So pause. The first thing you would have to look at is he said he delivered unto them his goods. He said unto the 5 talents, he gave 5 talents. Unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1. To every man according to his several ability, and straightway and took his journey. So when you turn around and you look at that several ability, it takes us back to the conversation that we had about being experts in war and being a trained servant and selling all your garments to go cop a sword. So when you look at this here, you're looking at those who are apostles, who are prophets, who are evangelists, who are pastors, who are teachers. Or like Paul said, we know in part, we prophesy in part. You understand? Individuals have been given a certain amount of word according to the ability of which Elohim has bestowed upon them, and they go about and they flip that word. That's what it's about. Verse 16, then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same and made other 5 talents. And likewise, he that 2, he also gained other 2. And he that received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Lord's money. And after a long time, the Lord of those servants come and reckon with them. He said also, and so he that received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Lord, you delivered unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained besides them 5 talents more. His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter you into the joy of your Lord. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Lord, you delivered unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents besides them. His Lord said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. You have been faithful over a few things. I will make you ruler over many things. Enter you into the joy of your Lord. Then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Lord, I know that you are a hard man, and you reap where you have not sown, and gathering where you have not strawed. I was afraid and went and hid your talent in the earth. Lo, you have yours. His Lord answered and said unto him, wicked and slothful servant, you knew that I reap where I sowed not, and gather where I have not strawed. You ought therefore have to put my money to the exchangers at my coming, and I have received my own with usury. Take therefore the talent from him, and give unto him which have 10 talents. For unto everyone that hath shall be given, and he shall have abundance. But from him that have not shall be taken away even that which he have. And yet, you unprofitable servant, in the outer darkness there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So you say Ecclesiastes 9 and 10. No, not necessarily. Because what you're dealing with this one here is more so that Proverbs 11. He that is wise wins souls. Because what this is about is what profit it is for you to have the word and keep the word to yourself if your master gave you the word. You're supposed to multiply that. It ain't, and see what people get caught up at is you feel like you have to multiply it to the max amount. All you got to do is multiply the word. If you're able to win 1 soul, then it's worth it. You know what I'm talking about? And that goes back to what I just was talking about, what these gentlemen just said to me, and what I've been saying to y'all for a multitude of years. These people, shalom, Sister Kelly, these people don't care about winning souls. They don't care about your soul. At the end of the day, I don't care how much you might like somebody. I don't care how much you might think the information is this, that, there, or the third. If you can't get everlasting life out the information is worthless. It ain't got no value. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got no value. Because let's just keep it a buck, man. Ain't nobody finna do no revolution because you niggas don't want to die. Let's just go ahead, keep it a buck, stop playing games. These niggas ain't finna go take no bullet. These niggas ain't finna take no bullet. These niggas don't want to die. These niggas don't want to die for the word. So you know they ain't finna die for you. They don't even want to die for Elohim. What they gonna die for you for? See, we playing game, man. See, you think a lot of these dudes is warriors and they solid and this, that, and the third. Most of these niggas are cowards. They're not gonna do nothing. They don't want to die. We done had this conversation before, man. If you're gonna have a revolution, there has to be bloodshed. There's no way around that. There's going to be bloodshed. There's no way around that. And the only reason why our people don't understand that, because you ain't been raised by no men. You ain't been around no men. Ain't no man finna let you take over their stuff and they ain't gonna do nothing. You got to be dumb as a box of rocks if you think a man gonna let you overtake him and he ain't gonna do nothing. What type of men you been around, unless you've been hanging with cowards? Look here, man. I know a lot of people see like niggas be killing each other over blocks that ain't theirs. Let me tell you something, right? Because most of y'all ain't never been in the streets. If I'm on a block, man, and I'm making X amount of dollars a week on this block, and you coming through and you short stopping my money, I'm not finna let you take from me. This is how you know that people not being around men. This is how men operate. You're not taking nothing from me. Because if I let you take from me, then you're going to always take from me. So I really only got 2 options. I can let you overtake me or I can get you out the way. That's how that worked, man. Do you not understand that your forefathers didn't get the land, and them people just didn't move out the way and give it to them? They shed blood to get that land. You thought them Canaanites were just going to give it to you? Why do you think Moab went and got Balaam and tried to curse you, man? Them people fought back. You got to be stupid as hell to think a group of men going to be like, well, y'all the Israelites, I guess I got to let you have it. Man, come on, man. What type of men you been around? What type of world you living in, man? Who do that? Ain't nobody finna do that. Now, I'm not saying that they right for fighting, but I know as a man, they gonna fight. They gonna fight. And you niggas don't want to die. You niggas don't want to die for real, man. You don't even want to die to sin. You don't even want to die to lust. You don't want to die to the world. So I know you ain't finna die in real life. See, we don't have these conversations, man, because niggas capping, man. It's real good to talk real greasy with weapons on the internet, man. Swords and guns and talk all that tough talk, man. But you see, ain't none of these niggas up no fight. You see these niggas ain't made no moves where they know these people gonna make a move on us and up fight. Ain't nobody did none of that, man. Because these niggas don't want to die. You can believe what you want to believe, man. You know what I'm talking about? I don't give a damn about dying. I've been dead. You know what I'm talking about? And this on the natural side of things, you know what I'm talking about? No, I mean, I know what you're talking about, but I'm talking about in general, my G. You already know what it is, man. These niggas don't want to die. They definitely don't want to die. Look here, man. Niggas want to die for a quote-unquote cause they make up than to just die for Yahuwah's name. To just die for his word. That ain't enough. You don't even realize what level of honor and esteem it is to be found worthy to die for his name, yo. Do you understand how blessed you got to be and how revered your name has to be in Shamahim for this man to find you worthy enough to die for his name? To suffer for his name? Do you understand the level of honor and esteem you got in heaven with him? You don't even value that. We don't even value what we're supposed to value, man, because you want to impress men. You really want to be like these sinners who you say you hate. That's what you really want to do. But let me move on, man. Ezekiel chapter 9. Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? I say, man, so it says, ain't told no lie, man. The sign was the word. And Yahushua was that sign. And they missed it. And we still missing it. And we still missing it to this day. Ezekiel chapter 9, man, verse 1. He cried also in my ears with a loud voice, saying, cause them that have charge over the city to draw near, every man his destroying weapon in his hand. And behold, 6 men came from the way of the higher gate, which lie towards the north, every man a slaughter weapon in his hand. And one man among them, clothed with linen, and the writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in and stood by the brazen altar. And the esteem of the Elohim of Yasharal was gone up from the cherub, whereupon he was, to the threshold of the house. He called to the man clothed with linen, which had the writer's inkhorn by his side. Yahuwah said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. We want to talk about that mark. And we want to make a difference between a mark and a sign in 2 different ways. When we look at mark, it's simply that Hebrew character or the word that you know, tau. This is the desire. This is a mark. It's also an exemption from the judgment of Elohim. You know what I'm talking about? It's a signature. I just want you to sit back and think about that when you hear that and just pause for a moment, especially when you cross-reference that in your mind to the mark of the beast. You understand? See, that mark is a signature. It's something written upon that individual. It's a sign of the covenant. It's a sign of who you belong to. It's a sign of the exemption from judgment. I think we read last week, right? In that Revelation 14, right? Let's come over here and look at it. Revelation 14. You trying to be like your mama? Revelation 14, man. Verse 9. And the third Malachim followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink the wine of the wrath of Elohim, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. He shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the Kadash Malachim and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day or night, who worship the beast in his image and receive the mark of his name. So when you turn around and you look at what is this mark, it's a desire. It's a desire. It's a desire. It's where your heart lay at, man. You understand? Let me tell you something since I said about desire while it's in my mind, man. You know what I'm talking about? I go hard regardless. I go hard for Yahuwah, man. I go hard for those who want Yahuwah. But let me tell you something real, man, because it's been on my mind. Next month, man, we 8 years since y'all have mercy on his soul and quicken him to everlasting life since Go to Eubank passed away. You know what I'm talking about? And let me tell y'all something real, man. I knew Goldie for a long time before he jumped down with what we had going on. Goldie used to call me all the time to give me encouragement and a multitude of matters to continue to do what we're doing right now. You know what I'm talking about? By the grace of Elohim, man, he came down here for Pentecost, man. 2015, this was the only time that I got to sit down with him in the flesh. You know what I'm talking about? He brought Brother Dap with him, man. Dap, boy, I love you, boy. And you know what I'm talking about? They sat down with me, came up to the end time, man, pulled up on me, sat down with me. Even Brother Tony, man. Tony be mad with me, man. He don't fool with me, but I still love him, though. You know what I'm saying? He be wilding out, but it's all good. And we sat back and we kicked it, man. Then we pulled up, the 5 guys sat down to 8, man, did that damn the 3rd, man. Man, I remember Goldie told me he had cancer for years and he's supposed to have been dead. You know what I'm talking about? I can't even recall how long it was before. Shalom says how long it was before he passed. But I remember he called me, he told me, man, he said, man, you brought me back, man. I almost forsook Mashiach. I said, boy, I ain't bring you back. Boy, the word brought you back. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't do nothing. But we fast forward to Trumpets, man, 2015, man. Goldie was already going in and out of the hospital. His days was winding down. He didn't really let that be known. But he was going in the hospital. And he used to let me know, man. You know what I'm talking about? Like, hey, boy, I'm still riding with you. He'll text me. He'll post it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, boy, I'm riding with y'all. And boy, who is my witness before whom I stand? And those who were there that night, they know. Well, this man was looking death in his eyes, man. You understand me? I ain't talking about no cap talk, this, that, then the 3rd. I'm talking about this man was looking death in his eyes, man. The man was on his deathbed getting ready to take his last breath, literally. And the only thing that he was concerned with was the word of Yahuwah, and sought the word of Yahuwah. And I believe we probably went off, man. You know what I'm talking about? Probably about 11 o'clock that night, man. Goldie was gone by that morning, man. I'm talking about 7, 8 o'clock that morning. So literally, the last thing that this man very well may have heard before he passed on was the word of Yahuwah. That's how bad he wanted it, man. That's how serious it was to him, man. That even at the onset of death coming for him, boy, it wasn't going to stop him from getting it. How can I not go hard after that? You understand what I'm telling you? Niggas around here crying and whining about the stuff you got going on in life. Ain't none of you niggas been on your deathbed and like, boy, I got to get this word, man. See, that's a pattern of faith that I have yet to even be able to match. That my nigga showed me, boy. That man showed me a pattern of faith, man, that I couldn't even match, boy. How can I not go hard after that? How I'm going to be like, oh, I'm tired today. I don't feel like it today. And my nigga was dying, boy. That man was dying, man. I ain't talking about no cap talk. That man was dying, man. And the only thing that was on his mind was the word of Yahuwah, man. Well, that's the last thing he heard before he took his last breath. This ain't no game to me, man. This ain't no joke to me, man. Everlasting life serious to me, man. And that's how much he believed in it, man. Boy, I hope to be able to follow the pattern of faith that strong that this man showed up, man. For those of y'all who was here, you know what I'm talking about because you heard him. You was there. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am, Mariel. That's definitely Mr. Eubank, man. That was my people right there, man. I love that man. You understand what I'm telling you? Y'all don't know how much this man used to call me, man. You know what I'm talking about? And make sure, boy, I stay on what I was on, man. And that man was seeking the word till he took his last breath, boy. That man was seeking everlasting life all the way up to his natural life being gone, boy. You know what I'm saying? Well, my nigga been gone 8 years, boy. That's a pattern of faith that can't be matched. And you think I'm finna be around here fooling around with these goofy niggas on the internet and on Clubhouse and all this other stuff about this cornball junk they out here talking about, man? That's desire right there. You understand me? You got desire for Yahuwah that's wrong when you know you finna die. You ain't got no reason to be out here complaining. You ain't got no reason to be this, that, there, and the third, boy. With all that he had going on, there was nothing going to stop him from getting you his word, man. That's what you call a desire right there. That's the desire that we all got to have. You know what I'm talking about? And I pray that that manifestation of desire in the natural would prove positive that that man had the mark of Elohim on his head and in his soul, because that's real desire right there, man. And you know, I tell y'all that from time to time, boy, but like I say, man, I done been on my mind hard about what we've been dealing with, about how this man gave us the issues from death, the ability to escape from death. We don't exalt that, man. We don't talk about that, man. We act like that's just something, oh, that ain't no, boy, that's the realest thing ever, boy. Your Elohim came here as a man and died so you could beat death. And you don't think that's something that everybody need to hear and know? You don't think this man to be esteemed and exalted for that very deed? What's wrong with us, man? Do you understand how serious death is? You can't beat that, boy. Amen, brother friends. You can't beat that, boy. You know what I'm talking about? Let me tell y'all something, man. Niggas might be thinking, oh, he the preacher. He came in. Man, I can learn stuff from anybody, boy. And that man taught me a strong example and pattern of faith to follow, boy. And I'm talking about what that burned in me, boy. You know what I'm talking about? That burned in me, boy. It's that serious, boy. It's that serious, boy. I can't do nothing but go hard. Like when they talking about you need to take a day off. Take a day off for what? My nigga was dying. He ain't take no day off. Hell you mean? You know what I'm talking about? Like straight up and down, man. Well, that's a tough thing, man. When there's somebody you love, boy, and you know they finna check out of here, man. But boy, he was fighting every day. And I sit back and I look at that man, and that man say, boy, he supposed to been dead. So I look at that, boy, Yahuwah kept that man alive so he could receive the gospel, boy. He kept him alive just so he could get that. Just so he could get everlasting life. Just for the very thing that he had trepidation of coming on him so he could beat it. And we around here talking about all this goofy cornball stuff these niggas arguing about. Boy, I'm not with it, bro. Boy, I'm done with it. I just checked these pussy niggas in this room over here, bro, and I'm not with it, boy. These niggas finna catch a side of me that y'all didn't even know existed, boy. I'm not with it. I'm done with it, man. I'm done with all these cats, man, and all the goofy stuff they talking about, bro. Boy, the name of Yahushua finna be esteemed even more so around these parts, man. You understand me? Boy, we got to live forever around here, man. Well, we need everlasting life. We need quickening around here, man. We need Ruach HaKodesh in us, boy. That's what it is, man. And if you're not on that, well, you might as well go on here and slide. You know what I'm talking about? You might as well go on here and slide. You want to come on here and debate your mammy, because I ain't doing it. I ain't doing none of that. I said what I said, and I stand on that. You don't agree with it, I don't care. Straight like that. Now, this man mentioned a sign, right? Now, I want you to come to Exodus 13. Let's talk about where he mentioned this as a sign. Y'all know the word, but I'm working towards a sign, man. I'm working towards a sign. Tell you, man, I forgot so many people, man. I forgot my nigga Corey, man. They murdered my nigga, man. I forgot about Junior and his daddy. Nigga broke in their house in South Carolina, man, murdered them in their sleep. You know what I'm talking about? I forgot about my homeboy, Vashawn, man. I grew up with him, boy. He gone, man. You know what I'm saying? Kim gone, man. I told y'all about Kim, man. Man, dude shot her in her vagina with a 45 point blank range. She lived to tell about it. They told her she never had a baby. She had a baby, and she died probably 2 years after she had her baby. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I just told this goofy dude in this room, bro. I'm not on what y'all on, bro. I'm not on it, man. I seen people suffer, man. It made me think about the white girl I knew when that dude killed her baby, then tried to kill herself by shooting himself in the mouth with a flare gun, man. And every time I used to see her, man, she was just blank. It wasn't no life in her. I'm talking about the pain I seen in her eyes, man. It was unmatched. It wasn't nothing I could say to her to comfort her. It wasn't nothing that could be done. She was hollow on the inside, man. You know what I'm talking about? And you think I'm finna get around here with what these dudes out here talking about, bro? And I done seen, man, you know how many girls that I know that who've been raped? You know what I'm talking about? You know how many young people I know who've been molested? Man, you know how many people I know who've been abused as a child? I'm talking about real stuff in real life, man. Not this goofy internet stuff that we be on, bro. If people need hope from God, man, they out here hurting on the inside, man. But we coming to bring salvation that you could be healed in the inward, man, and live forever and get closer to God, man. so you can get the peace that surpasses all understanding. I am not with these stuff these niggas own. I wasn't really on it before. I'm not with it no more. I'm not. And I really don't care who I offend, and I don't really care who I make an enemy. I do not care. I'm done with these niggas, man. I promise you. Sick of this done, bro. There's people hurting out here, man. Don't you know? Look at right. We got a hurricane coming this way, man. There's some people, they probably finna lose everything they got. And it's all by Yahuwah's hand. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm talking about? Hurricane coming, it destroy anything. That's all Yahuwah. I give esteem to him. If this house was to be destroyed, pray be to Yahuwah. You know what I'm talking about? If it don't get destroyed, pray be to Yahuwah. Either way, let his will be accomplished. I ain't got no problem with it. But I do know after the aftermath, it's going to be people who are going to be hurt. And they're going to be wanting to understand why. Don't you understand what stuff happened out here in the earth? People be like, God, why you let this happen? People don't even have no understanding how this man operated and make their heart cold towards him. You know what I'm talking about? It make their heart hard as concrete towards him. And all we want to do is debate and argue with a bunch of niggas who don't believe the word in the first place. Want to prove, come on, bro. These niggas on here betting. These goofy niggas is on the internet betting debates on the word of God. It's a disgrace and abomination before God, man. Do you understand how abominable that is? I bet you $500 I can beat you in a debate about the word. Boy, they ought to go to hell if they don't repent, boy. That's a disgrace before God, man. That's a disgrace before God. We ain't supposed to be co-signing that. You think the Lord in heaven sit back, look at them boy. I sure hope he get them 500 cash. Come on, man. What we got going on, man? Let me move on, man. This junk got me heated, man. All this stuff I be seeing, this junk got me pissed off. You know what I'm talking about? Because, boy, we making a mockery out of this man's word, man. We making a mockery out of his name, and we think he pleased in heaven. You got to be smoking crack. Exodus 13 and 8, man. I'm sorry. Make it 3 for complete and total context. It'll give me an opportunity to double back and do what I told y'all that we can be able to do out of using us coming out of Egypt. As forth as that how that was a sign, and Yahushua fulfilled that sign, because again, the sign is the word. Yahushua is the word. He was the sign. I remember, you know, since I've been in the word, man, and forgive me if you feel like I'm going on some tangents, boy, but I promise, boy, I'm unrestrained this evening. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go as long as the Lord allowed me to go. You know what I'm saying? And you already know, boy, we're going to get these precepts. That's guaranteed. You know what I'm talking about? But there's a lot of brothers over the course since I've been in the word. They say, why we don't see no miracles? Why we don't see no miracles? Well, miracles are a sign. So when you're looking for miracles, you're showing that you are a wicked and adulterous generation. See, when Yahushua said in that Matthew 16, the only sign they're going to get is the sign of the prophet Jonah, that's the word. The only sign you're going to get is the word. That's the only sign you're going to get is the word. Because if the word ain't enough for you, ain't nothing going to be enough for you. And the word ain't enough for these people. You don't want just the word. You ain't satisfied with just the word because you think it's just the word. If you got the word, you got Yahuwah. If you got Yahuwah, you got life. How is that not enough for you? Maybe you ain't looked death in the eye before, man. I have. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about I looked death in the eyes as forth as talking about thinking I was going to lose my own life, boy. And I remember being 6 years old, boy, and seeing my grandma dead on the bed, man, and looking in her eyes, boy, there wasn't no life in it. You know what I'm talking about? It wasn't no life in it. I done seen men dead in the street. Man, we went to the school bus one morning, man, and seen a girl dead in the car. Man, we seen a man dead on the sidewalk, man, in a motorcycle accident, man. Nigga, we 16 years old, man. This man dead in the street. Man, when you done actually seen something, man, and you done been through something, man, life changed for you, man. You look at life differently. So when the word come, man, and you understand what this man is offering and the gift that has been bestowed upon us that we're not even worthy to receive, oh no, man. Boy, I'm not on what these niggas on, man. I can't be. I can't be, man. I told you, boy, I seen a man get murdered in prison, man. They beat Cedric Braswell to death, boy. And that punk pussy CEO came in the back talking about he Suge Knight is in death row as he boasted about murdering a man. Every ounce of my soul wanted to stab this whole nigga in his throat. You know what I'm talking about? It ain't even the fact that you killed him. Nigga, you bragging about it. Nigga, I watched this man die. That boy wasn't even 25 years old, man. I don't care what he was in prison for. He ain't deserve to be beaten to death. Don't nobody give a damn. Ain't nobody care about him. Nigga, if them people would have killed me in that prison, nobody would have cared. Do you know what it's like for people who walk around here, man, and they feel like don't nobody care if they live or die? Yahuwah care. Why you ain't telling them that? He said, our law taught us that men still won't believe after signs. You ain't lying. We gonna get that, Stanley. Stanley ain't lying. He said, our law taught us that men still won't believe after signs. Look at your forefathers out of Mizraim, 600,000. Look here, man. You ever looked at a young man he felt in his heart nobody cared if he lived or died? Well, I told you, boy. Boy, my little cousin killed himself, man. That's how he thought. He thought nobody cared if he died or not. Shalom, bro. Man, we got to tighten up, man. Why you ain't telling these kids out here, man? Why you ain't telling these people, boy, Yahuwah care? He say he don't take no pleasure in the death of him that died. Turn yourself and live. Why won't you care the father of fathers care if these people live, man? We ain't telling them nothing. You giving them bull crap doctrine, nonsense, tomfoolery, strife, and contention. Come on, man. 13 and 3, man. Shoot, you can make it one. Exodus 13 and 1. Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, sanctify unto me all the firstborn, whatsoever open the womb, among the sons of Yasharal, man and of beast, it mine. Pause. So, I want to talk to you about firstborn. We done talked about it before. Since we here, I'm just going to do it again. Y'all know what the firstborn is. That's Bakor. That's the firstling. Chief, the eldest, the firstborn. Come over here to Hebrew 12, man. Man, we got real deal promises out here, man. We got something to hold on to, man. I'm talking about when you got the highest level of stress, when you got a pain, you know, this, that, and the third, whatever you may be dealing with in life, man. You got all that, man. Well, you got something to hold on to, man. We ain't supposed to be walking around here looking sad and looking stupid when you got Yahuwah, man. You got everlasting life with you, man. What we really got going on, man? All we doing is playing characters on TV, man. That's not the real you. And I'm not talking about y'all specifically as individuals. I'm talking about niggas get on these clubhouse apps. Well, that's not you, bro. Niggas get on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. That's not the real you. That's not who you are when the camera go off. Niggas not being real, man. I'm telling you, man, mass majority of these dudes, man, who teach the word, bro, I wouldn't listen to these niggas if I was in the street. I wouldn't listen to y'all. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I don't believe that that's what you stand for. Like before I was in the word, man, we had a code of honor and ethics that we lived by before I was in the word, bro. Like straight up and down, man. But I was a man first. Now it's just an upper echelon of man. Now it's a godly man, a man of Elohim. But the key component is being a man. Man, these dudes ain't got no code of honor, no ethics or nothing, man. These dudes don't stand for nothing. They don't take nothing seriously. Man, life is death is as serious as that. Man, Hebrew 12, man. Verse 22. But you will come unto Mount Zion, unto the city of the living Elohim, Jerusalem from Shamahim, and to a innumerable company of Malachim, to the general assembly, to the synagogue of the firstborn, which are written in Shamahim, to Elohim, the judge of all, and to the Ruachs of just men made perfect, and to Yahushua, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speak better things than Abel. If y'all don't remember, right, what does your law say Abel's blood did? What does your law say that Abel's blood did? It cried out to Yahuwah. Now, of course, you know when Mashiach was on the stake, don't you know he was bleeding, he was crying out too. But it said that Yahushua's blood spake better things than that of Abel. That means there was a better promise attached to that which his blood cried out into Abba's ears that he heard, because he heard Abel's blood. So that means whatever request that Abel's blood made, he received it. Because this is what you got to understand, right? Shalom, Jay. This is what y'all got to understand, right? He hear the cries of the righteous regardless, whether it's the shedding of your blood, the crying of your ruach, or the words of your mouth. The cries of the righteous are heard. They're never forsaken. They're never cast away. They're never abandoned. They're never abandoned. See, the reason why we ineffective with the word in this particular generation, because the niggas who teaching you don't believe it. So they're giving you doctrine that you can't use to actually trust in Elohim. Therefore, you can't get the Ruach. You're wasting your time. So that man's going to come up on you as that fig tree, and he ain't going to find no fruit, and he going to curse you. Because the man looking for fruit, he's looking for summer fruit, and ain't no fruit on the tree, man. Ain't no fruit on the tree, man. What we got going on? But I mention this because it said that synagogue of the firstborn, which are written in Shamahim. Why is that important? Because he said, sanctify all the firstborn, they belong to me. And remember what Yahushua said in John 17:17. He said, sanctify with your truth. Your word is truth. He said, I'll sanctify myself by the truth, that they might sanctify themselves by it. So every person who put on Yahushua HaMashiach to not fulfill the lust thereof, you have been set apart as the firstborn. You belong to him. That's why he say all those that are Abbas are mine, because all those who are born of him belong to Israelite, bro. Are you a son of Elohim? Because I'm not even a part of proving we the Hebrew Israel. I don't care about that. I told the dude, man, if you want to have a conversation with somebody about proving we're Israelite, talk to the dudes who say the blacks, Native Americans, Hispanics, and are the Israelites. Talk to me about who is son of God. We can have that conversation. I'm not finna talk to you about who is Israelite, bro. I do not care. I do not care. Find somebody else to have that conversation with, because I'm not the one. I don't give a damn who believe we Israelites. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. But I will have this conversation. Well, we sons and daughters of Elohim over here. Let's talk about that. You don't want to talk about that because that takes an element of faith in the word to have that conversation when somebody make that proclamation. Because we can stand on facts to prove how we sons and daughters of Elohim, how that process came about. Because we born of the seed, we born of the word. And the way we live our life produce the fruits that show forth that we belong to God. Period. You don't like it? Oh, well. I will not at any time participate in any carnal conversations as far as it pertains to this word. Don't bring it to me. I ain't gonna facilitate it with you. I shut them niggas down. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. There have been times where I entertain them type of conversations. Boy, Yahuwah is my witness. He give me strength. And boy, unless he move me to do different. Boy, I'm not having them conversations. You can have it. I ain't doing it. I don't care. I don't care, man. I don't care, man. I don't look men in the eyes and seen real pain, man. Let me tell you something, man. I done had some difficult situations to deal with in my life, man. And one of the most difficult things that I ever encountered in my life, I had to encounter it twice. I had to look my first cousin in the face 2 times. When her mama died and when her son died. And seen that there was a high level of pain in her and there was nothing I could do to take it away. You understand what I'm telling you? Me and her, 9 months apart, raised together. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I love this nigga, man. And there was nothing I could do for her. And that was a very difficult thing to do. It wasn't nothing that could be said. It wasn't a hug to be given. It wasn't nothing that could be done. 2 of the most important people in the world to her were gone. Boy, I'm not on this joint these niggas on, bro. And guess what, man? Well, that boy died, and I had to preach that day, too. That boy came up. She came home. That boy wasn't there on a Sabbath morning, boy. I had to sit there and watch that boy. I still had to preach that afternoon, boy. Well, my daddy died on the Sabbath, boy. I ain't even get a chance to get to the hospital before he passed. Boy, I had to drop that word, man. I ain't even get a chance to be with him when he took his last breath. I was on my way to go see him when I got the call, boy. He was already gone. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, I'm not on with these niggas on. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it, man. Our souls got to be saved, man. Our names got to be written in heaven. If your name written in heaven, man, that means you written on the roll, man. You written in the genealogy. You written on what's in Genesis chapter 1. Excuse me, Genesis chapter 2 about the generations of Shamahim. Those who written up there, boy, them the firstborn, man, you got right to inheritance. You the beginning of his strength. Come over here. I think of what it is. Deuteronomy 21, man. Come over here and look at this with me, man. I'm going to come back to Exodus 13. I told you, man, I ain't under no time restraint, man. I don't know how long y'all going to last, but that don't mean just because y'all slide that I'm going to stop. I ain't got nowhere to go. What is that? Deuteronomy 21. There it is. 21 and 15, man. If a man had two wives, one beloved, another hated, and they born him sons, the beloved and the hated, and the firstborn son be heirs, be hers that was hated, then it shall be when he make his son to inherit, which he have, that he may not take the son of the beloved firstborn before the son of the hated, the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated, the firstborn, by giving him a double portion of all that he had. For he, the beginning of his strength, the right of the firstborn his. Now, of course, you can see that in Genesis 49, but I want you to understand that the firstborn are the beginning of his strength. Yahushua is the beginning of his strength. That's why he say he the first and the last. That's why you turn around and you see, when you see that mark in the foreheads of those who sighed and cried by the abominations, is Tau, because he the Aleph and the top, the first and the last, the beginning and the end, the author and finisher of your faith. You know what I'm talking about? That's why when you look at Aleph and the Tau, it tells you it's the strength of the covenant, because you're the beginning of his strength. When you take hold to become this man firstborn, you become the beginning of his strength. You become the beginning of the strength by taking heed to the sign. Let's go back to Exodus 13 as we're talking about that sign. (13 and 2) one more time. Sanctifying to be all the firstborn whatsoever open the womb among the sons of Yasharal, of man and of beast, in mind. Moses said unto the people, remember this day which you came out of Mizraim, out of the house of bondage. For by the strength of the hand of Yahuwah brought you out from this place, there shall be no leavened bread eaten. So again, I told you we want to talk about bondage. Well, what is bondage for us? What does this mean? It is ebed, ayin, ba, dollar. It's a slave. It's a servant. You understand? So when he tell you he brought you out of the house of slavery, you know what I'm saying? Now we talked about this a little bit as far as prisoners is concerned. I just want you to pay attention to this. Somebody wouldn't say, I'm going to read it again. Moses, this is Exodus 13 and 3. Moses said unto the people, remember this day in which you have come out from Mizraim, out of the house of bondage, for by the strength of the hand of Yahuwah brought you out from this. There shall be no unleavened bread eaten. This day come you out in the month of Abib. And it shall be when Yahuwah shall bring you into the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, which you swear unto your fathers to give you a land flowing with milk and honey. You shall keep this service in this month. 7 days shall you eat unleavened. 7 days there shall be no leavened bread be seen with you, neither shall there be leaven seen with you in all your quarters. And you shall show your son in that day, saying, because of that Yahuwah did unto me when I came forth out of Mizraim, it shall be a sign for you, unto you, upon your hand, for a memorial between your eyes, that Yahuwah's law may be in your mouth. For with a strong hand have Yahuwah brought you out of Mizraim. Now, I just want you to pause for a moment and consider. Now, of course, he said that this will be a sign. And this is unleavened bread. This is Passover. This is you coming out of Egypt. He said this will be an oath, a sign, a signal, a remembrance, but also a standard, also a miracle, a miraculous sign. So Passover is supposed to be a remembrance of a miraculous sign. You know what I'm talking about? I want you to come look at something in John chapter 20. John chapter 20. We're going to pick it up at 24. John 20 and 24. But Thomas, one of the 12 called Didymus, was not with them when Yahushua came. The other disciples therefore said unto him, we have seen the Lord. But he said unto them, except I shall see in his hand the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and thrust my hand into his side, I will not believe. After 8 days again, his disciples were within, Thomas with them. Came Yahushua, the doors being shut, and stood in the midst, and said, Shalom be unto you. Then say he to Thomas, reach hither your finger, and behold my hands, and reach hither your hand, and thrust into my side, and be not faithless, but believing. Thomas answered and said unto him, my Lord and my Elohim. Yahushua said unto him, Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Baruch they that have not seen and have believed. Let me tell you something, right? Why this important? Because when Yahuwah was telling by the mouth of Moses to tell these people, man, that this should be a sign that you show your son. That's the same thing. Your son didn't see him come out, deliver us up out of Egypt. He didn't see him redeem you from slavery. He didn't see it. It was a miraculous sign, and that's why you turn in and say, blessed are those who have not seen yet believe. Because guess what? All these old smarty-art, coward, goofy niggas who be talking about Christ is not in the Old Testament. You're making this, that, and the third. You ain't see Moses bring us up out of Egypt, but you believe that, nigga. Because that's what this goofy nigga just said to me, and then this nigga just said this here, man, you lying to them people. Man, nigga, ain't nobody on here worth lying to. You only lie to people out of fear or out of manipulation for monetary increase. You know what I'm talking about? But if Yahuwah permit, though, I'm going to catch them niggas, man, and I'm going to crack them across the head with this gospel, boy. I'm talking about if Yahuwah permit, they're going to get all their word. They don't get what they're looking for. You know what I'm talking about? Because, boy, Yahushua going to be preached and esteemed in the earth, and Abba going to be honored, boy. That's what's going to happen around here. That's what you're going to get every time you come around here. That's the only type of time that we own. Every single last one of us should be exalting the name of Yahushua to the esteem of Abba and Shamahin with every breath you got. But we don't do it. Not like we supposed to. Because you caught up worrying about all these things that don't matter. What you going to eat today don't matter. That man going to feed you. What you got to wear today don't matter. That man going to clothe you. Where you got to sleep today, that don't matter. You going to have somewhere to lay. But where your soul at, though? Is your soul right? If you was to leave here tonight, could you be able to confidently say that you'll be able to meet this man in peace? That your name written in heaven? Because nobody else is responsible for that but you. I can't get your name written in heaven. I can't get your faith together. I can't do none of that. All we can do is present the word. Yahuwah do the rest. You got to ask yourself how bad you want to live. If you were drowning in some water, you'll fight to live. Why you ain't fighting to live right now? When it comes to natural things, you'll do anything possible to save your life. Why you not doing whatever possible to save your soul? Come on back over here to Exodus, man. Do we even want to go to Exodus? Yeah, I do. Exodus chapter 4. Baby Joanne. Your mama was picking on you on the internet, baby Joanne. What? You be giving your mama trouble. And you know it too. Exodus 4:1, man. Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, Yahuwah have not appeared unto you. Yahuwah said to me, what is in your hand? He said, a rod. He said, cast it on the ground. He cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent, and Moses fled from before. Yahuwah said unto Moses, put forth your hand, and take it by your tail, and put forth his hand, and he caught it, and became a rod in his hand. That they may believe that Yahuwah, Elohim of their Abba, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, the Elohim of Jacob, have appeared unto you. And Yahuwah said furthermore unto him, put now your hand into your bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand leprous as snow. And he said, put your hand in your bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as other flesh, as his flesh, excuse me. And it shall come to pass that they will not believe you, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. Now, of course, I know most of y'all already know this. Why was it important that he worked these signs by Moses? Because one thing about man always looking for a sign. You're always looking for something miraculous. That's what man's problem is. Ain't the word miraculous enough? Of course, you know, sign again is oath. You want this miraculous sign. You want this proof positive that God is present. But look over here to 1 Corinthians 14. First Corinthians 14:1 is fine. We'll move around. Follow after love and desire ruach, but rather that you may prophesy. For he that speak in a tongue, speak not unto men, but unto Elohim. For no man understand, howbeit in the ruach he speak mysteries. But he that prophesies speak unto men to edification and exhortation and comfort. He that speak in the tongue edify himself, but he that prophesy edify the body. I would that you all spake with tongues, but rather that you prophesy. For greater he that prophesied than he that speak with tongues, except he interpret, that the body may receive edifying. See, we were just hitting up this not too long ago. When you got people who say, oh, you ain't got the ruach if you don't speak in tongues. But Paul is just letting it be known right here and right now that he that got the word is better than him that speak in tongues. And speaking in tongues is a gift of the ruach. But as he just stated, what good is it to speak in tongues? Oh, man. Well, Will, if you on here, boy, you know what just came to my mind. I ain't going to do it, though. I ain't going to sing it on here. You know what I'm talking about right now, because I don't want to have us to have to be in some type of strife and contention with nobody. But dang, that junk just came to my mind, man. Because you got people who feel like you got to speak. You ain't going to never catch me around here with some babble. You know what I'm talking about some Baba Boshe and all that other type of stuff. Ain't none of that, man. If you speaking in tongues, man, you speaking in the language that is an actual language, not just somebody running around here talking. But it's better for you to have an understanding of the word, to have prophecy or the testimony of Yahushua, which is the ruach of prophecy, than to be walking around here speaking in a tongue that don't nobody know. And if you don't know where the point where he come in and say that you need somebody to edify, all you got to do is go read the story with Joseph and his brothers when they were speaking. He was speaking Egyptian, and there was a translator there. You know what I'm talking about, to be able to interpret. See your laws right there. But see, some people be like, it don't say that in Deuteronomy that you need that, so that's not Torah. Shut your stupid behind up, you ignorant bastard. At this point in time, man, it's really time that you should be able to identify and say, God is not with this person. I'm not listening to you. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm talking about? I know God ain't with you, because if God was with you, you wouldn't be doing or promoting what you promoting. So I know God is not with you. I'm going to move on. Let's continue. Verse 6. Now, brethren, if I come unto you speaking with tongues, what shall I profit you, except I shall speak to you either by revelation or by knowledge or by prophesying or by doctrine? Notice what he said. How am I going to be a benefit to you? A lot of men problem out here in the earth, man, like I told y'all the other day, man, last Shabbat, man. As a man, if you have information that can help a man be a better man, you give it to him. You know what I'm saying? It's on the man what he does with the information. You know what I'm talking about? See, a lot of our problem is we ain't been around men, so you don't value the education that comes from sitting with men because you're ready to jump up and do something. And jumping up and doing something is why everything get messed up. Because you don't have the proper information for what you're seeking to do. That man said, I can't be of any value or benefit unless it be by revelation, by the knowledge of God, by prophesying, or by doctrine. Like you can't get no benefit without the word, man. And the problem is a lot of men don't want to be of value to anybody. You know what I'm talking about? You don't want to take the time to be able to be beneficial to somebody. That's what that parable of the talents was about. Being valuable, being beneficial, adding value. You know what I'm talking about? Nevertheless, even things without life-giving sound, whether pipe or harp, except they give a distinction in the sounds, how shall it be known what is piped or harp? For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? That take you back to Numbers 10. So likewise, except you utter by the tongue words easy to be understood, how shall it be known what is spoken? For you shall speak into the air. There are, it may be, so many kind of voices in the world, and none of them without signification. Therefore, if I know not the meaning of the voice, shall I be unto them that speak a barbarian? And he that speak a barbarian unto me. So even so, you for as much as you are zealous of Ruach, see that you make to excel to the edifying of the body. See, look at what he sat back and looked at, man. What does edify even mean? Do y'all remember what that even means? It might be different than what's in Romans. And that battery back there died already. That's unfortunate. When you look at edifying, man, it's the building up, building, edification, one who promotes another's growth in wisdom, in faithfulness, in happiness, and in Kadash. So that's what you should be focusing on, excelling in and becoming great in. Being able to actually assist somebody in their wisdom, in their happiness, and in their faithfulness to Elohim. You know what I'm talking about? And being sanctified in Elohim. Not just throwing doctrine so you can show somebody how much words you know, but the actual building up of the individual to their own profit. And if that's not what you're trying to do, nigga, you're just wasting your time. A lot of these niggas just want to be heard because nobody listened to them when they were a child. A lot of these niggas just want popularity because they weren't popular when they were a child. It's sad and it's disgusting that you're trying to get popularity with the word because you were unpopular in high school. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you doing something valuable with your life? It makes no sense. Let's continue. Where did I stop at? I don't even know. Let me get to the point. Is that rain? Was that wind? 22. 1 Corinthians 14 and 22. Wherefore tongues are for a sign, not to them that believe, but to them that believe not. But prophesying, not for them that believe not, but for them which believe. Therefore the whole body be come together in one place, and all speak with tongues, and there come in unlearned or unbelievers. Will they not say that you are mad? But if all that prophesy, there come in one that believe not or unlearned, he is convinced of all, and he is judged of all, and thus the secrets of his heart are made manifest. So falling down on face, he will worship Elohim and report that Elohim is in you of a truth. Look at what he said signs are for. Now let me ask you this question, Boo. You sitting right here. When Moses when Yahuwah decided to show Moses these signs, why did he show Moses these signs? For Moses to go do. No, go back and look. Go back and look at Exodus 4 and see why Yahuwah was showing Moses these signs that he was going to have to go do. In Exodus 4. Any of y'all can answer that question on the stream or in this room if you so choose. But why was Moses showing these signs? Why was Yahuwah showing them this? Joanna. It sounds like you're being difficult. So let's look at Exodus 4:1. It said, Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken to my voice, for they will say, Yahuwah have not appeared unto you. So the purpose of the signs that Moses was about to go show these people is because the people would say that God wasn't with him, because the people did not believe. You know what I'm talking about? Because the people had never received a word. They didn't know Yahuwah. They never heard of Yahuwah. They never heard a word from Yahuwah. Why is this important as it pertains to signs with somebody who was going to the people? Let's come over here to Mark chapter 16. Now, of course, now Sister Kelly mentioned to build his faith and strengthen his relationship. And of course, he got a little agitated with Moses when he went to talking about how he was slow of tongue. But it was more so in that verse 1 because Moses said, the people won't believe that you appeared unto me and that you gave me a word. They basically, they're going to call me a liar and say, God ain't sent you. God ain't with you. Because that's how a lot of people move. You know what I'm talking about? So he said, you know what? Because there's a hurricane coming this way, Drew, and we may not have power tomorrow night because at the time that the hurricane coming is at the time that we're supposed to be live. So you do it a day early, and if we do lose power, it'll be done. If we don't lose power, we'll stream tomorrow. You know what I'm talking about? So let's come over here to Mark 16. Yeah. Mark 16 and 12 is fine. You know what? 9 is better. Mark 16 and 9. Now, when was risen early the first of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he cast 7 devils. She went and told them that had been with them as they mourned and wept. And they, when they had heard that he was alive and had been seen of her, believed not. After that, he appeared in another form unto 2 of them as they walked and went into the country. And they went and told unto the residue, and neither they believed they them. Now, this is an example of the miraculous sign that Moses did as forth as the leprous. Not the leprous as forth as Yahushua had leprosy, but that his hand appeared in one form, and then it returned as his normal flesh. Well, Yahushua coming to them, that's right, signs are for unbelievers. That's why I went to that as forth as to a law example of what's in 1 Corinthians 14. Miraculous signs are for people who don't believe. So remember, we just read that Yahushua's apostles did not believe, and he appeared to them in a different form before he appeared to them in the flesh that they were accustomed to seeing him in. Now, let's look at the next thing. Where was that? Verse 12. After that, he appeared unto them in another form unto 2 of them as they walked and went into the country, and they went and told unto the residue, and neither believed they them. Afterwards, he appeared unto the 11 as they sat at meat and upbraided them with their unbelief and hardness of heart, because they believed not them which had seen him after he was risen. Now listen, right? Do y'all remember what that upbraided meant? Do y'all recall what that meant? You remember? It's been a long time. What did it mean that he upbraided them? To reproach, a deserved reproach, to revile, to taunt, to rail at, to defame. You know what I'm talking about? Now, of course, you know, in Luke, he called him slow of heart. He called him stupid. You know what I'm talking about? You should recall that from what we just read in Matthew. He said, Lord, I know you are hard man, or austere man. This man ain't nobody to be played with. This man say, I came to 2 people in 2 different forms to tell you that I was alive, and you still didn't believe him. You ain't think he was going to go off on them? And you have been walking with him the whole time, and he taught you? You ain't think he was going to go off on them by that? Oh, you thought he was just going to say, it's okay. I still love you. No. You know why you don't understand that? Because you ain't never been around no men. You ain't never been trained around no men. You don't know how men operate when a man's in authority and he training somebody to go to battle. You got to remember, these his trained servants born in his own house. And they couldn't go on to get ready to go out to war. That's why you know that most of these niggas ain't warriors. To be a warrior, you got to be trained by a warrior. You just ain't a warrior because you got a penis and a gun. You got to be trained by a warrior. Most of these niggas ain't trained by no warriors, man. Most of these niggas is cowards. They run from confrontation. They ain't finna do nothing. Let's continue. Verse 15, Mark 16. And he said unto them, go you into all the world and preach the gospel to every creature. He that believe and is immersed shall be saved, and he that believe not shall be damned. And these signs shall follow them that believe in my name. They shall cast out devils. They shall speak with new tongues. They shall take up serpents. And if they drink any deadly thing, it shall not hurt them. They shall lay hands on the sick and they shall recover. So then after the Lord had spoken to them, he received up into Shamahim and sat on the right hand of Elohim. And they went forth and preached everywhere, the Lord working with and confirming the word with signs following. Amen. Now, why is that important? Let's go back to Exodus chapter 4. So the signs of the apostles were working. They were working because when we look at when Yahushua was here in the flesh, what happened? They rejected him. So if they rejected him, would it be safe to say that they rejected the word in which he preached? When he said, if you would have believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me, but you believe not his writings, how are you going to believe my words? Do you not realize that the son, see, he sent the apostles to do the same thing that he sent Moses and Aaron to do to the people for them to believe so they could be prepared to come out of bondage. And the difference between Exodus and Acts, if you would, is that your forefathers put the blood on the door to get out. Your forefathers during the time of Acts said, no, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We don't really believe what you're talking about. Exodus chapter 4. What did I stop at? I stopped at verse 8. Indeed, Monte say he is the word. They rejected him, so they rejected his word, which in reality they rejected the sign because the sign is the word. They were looking for a miraculous sign, and all they had to do was look at the word, and the word was the manifestation of the miraculous sign, and they missed it. Now, us, we coming in generations later, you ain't seen none of these things. You know what I'm saying? But again, the sign is the word. And like he said in Proverbs chapter 8, my words are clear, plain to them who have understanding, and clear to them whom he have to do with. See, the harsh reality for a lot of brothers and sisters in this way, man, is that they don't want to accept that Yahuwah don't fool with them. Let me tell you something, man. When KD was interviewing Nell Sunday, man, Nell said something, right? She mentioned that she had received a multitude of information over the years, and that she had came to the realization that she wasn't responsible with that information. You know what I'm talking about? So all of us would have to look ourselves in the mirror and ask yourself, have you been responsible with the word of salvation that you have received? Were you responsible with it? Because see, you're responsible of that which you value and that which you deem precious. See, if you don't value that information, then you're not going to deem it precious. It's just like what he said in Matthew 13, man. You sell everything you got, you treat it as a pearl, and you bury it in the ground because it's that valuable to you. It's that precious to you. I told you plenty of time, man. The man said, hey, man, many righteous men have desired to see the things that you see and hear the things that you heard and have not heard of. But by the grace of Abba Shamahim, you have. You know what I'm saying? I say, man, I gravitate and move and not as many spaces as some, but more spaces than others. And I hear all type of niggas, man. And boy, they not talking about what Yahuwah letting us know. Niggas not on that. They really not. You know what I'm talking about? The amount of people who own everlasting salvation through Yahushua HaMashiach, as the scripture has said, is small. You know what I'm saying? I only reference that not to esteem myself, but to esteem Abba Shamahim in the name of Yahushua, because that's his mercy and grace, which has been granted unto us that we might have freedom. That's what that was about in Exodus, showing you what Yahushua was going to come do. That was the grace and mercy on Yahuwah bestowed on the people who were in captivity. who was in bondage, who were slaves. And you were in captivity and bondage in the slavery of sin, with Satan being your Pharaoh, with Satan being your oppressor, with Satan being your taskmaster. Because we done talked about that in the past, man. Pharaoh is synonymous with Satan. That's who Pharaoh represents. This man set you free. And he wanted you to put that sign in your forehead and in your hand so you could remember that miraculous sign of freedom that had been done. This man is allowing us to see everlasting life, that we could be saved. Man, we ain't got no time to be around here pity-patting, playing around. You know what I'm talking about? People not getting to hear what this man allowing us to hear. People not getting to know what this man allowing us to know, man. And others like us. I'm just making it possessive because I'm talking to y'all. You know what I'm talking about? Man, it's serious out here, man. It's struggle out here, man. I keep telling y'all, it's a lot of bad dope out here on these streets, man. It's a lot of bad dope out here on these streets, man. A lot. A lot. Dang, I felt like I missed something. Shalom, Brother Alex. It's a lot of bad dope out here. Exodus 4:8. And it shall come to pass that they will not believe, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. See, when you look at the first sign, it's casting. He took a serpent and he did what with it? He cast it on the ground and it became a serpent. And then he took it back and he grabbed it by the tail and it came back in his hand, a rod. So what does that symbolize for us? When he took the rulership of the rod, which is a symbol of authority, and it became a serpent, he grabbed that serpent by the tail to show forth who had power over that serpent. So if they ain't believe the first sign, maybe they'll believe the second sign when I come back in a different form. So if you don't believe when I destroy death by taking Satan and stepping on his head, maybe you'll believe it when I resurrect from the dead. And they missed it. Verse 9, it shall come to pass if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto your voice, then you shall take of the water of the river, pour upon dry land, and the water which you take out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land. So, of course, you know, Yahushua did that when he turned the water into wine. If they won't believe that sign, maybe they'll believe this. And he said, you know, you kept the best part back for last. That's what it's saying. And Moses said unto Yahuwah, O my Lord, I not eloquent, neither therefore heretofore nor silence you have spoken unto your servant, but I slow of speech and slow of tongue. Yahuwah said unto him, who have made man's mouth, or who make the dumb or the deaf or the seeing or the blind? Have not I Yahuwah? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth and teach you what you shall say. That's the same way when he told you don't meditate on what you're going to say, because the Ruach HaKodesh will give you what to say. If Yahuwah with you, you ain't never got to worry about what you're going to say, because he's going to give you what to say. Baby Joanne. Verse 13. And he said, O my Lord, send, I pray you, by the hand of whom you will send. We got to go through all that, because that's when he go off on about that, man. But drop down to verse 29. Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the sons of Yasharal.
No, stop.
You can see it. Oh, okay. Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the sons of Yasharal. Aaron spake all the words which Yahuwah had spoken unto Moses, and did the signs in the sight of all the people. The people believed when they heard that Yahuwah had visited the sons of Yasharal, and he looked upon their affliction. And they bowed their heads and worshiped. strong thunder too. Joanne. Hard-headed baby. So when you turn around and you look at that, what did he say when he sent the apostles out? He sent signs confirming the word. The same way that Moses sent Aaron with signs to confirm the word. Because the word is for those who believe, and the signs are for those who don't believe. But when you're dealing with people who ain't never heard no word, they bring in the signs to confirm said word so that the people can believe the word by confirmation of said signs. You know what I'm talking about? So there are many other instances of particular signs in the text. And of course, we're going to go to a certain one that we always talk about because it's plain. And that's Ezekiel chapter 12. So let's go around that, man. Because we're going to deal with a lot of these things, man, over the course of the next couple of weeks. Ezekiel 12:1. The word of Yahuwah also came unto me, saying, Son of Adam, you dwell in the midst of a rebellious house, which have eyes to see and see not. They have ears to hear and hear not, for they are a rebellious house. Now, of course, you know, that's exactly what she say. I heard that thunder in Ohio there. That was a strong one right there. Of course, you know, that's what's in Isaiah. And Yahushua quoted as well. He said, truly, he's spoken well of his people. Because with eyes they see not, and with ears they hear not, lest they should see with their eyes, shalom, brother, hear with their ears, understand with their heart, and they should be converted and healed, and I should heal them. This people blind and deaf, and that's why they're not healed. That's why people not healed, man. The word is supposed to bring health. Well, the only way that health can be brought is through the words of faith. That's not what's being brought out here, man. You know what I'm talking about? That's not what's being brought out here, man. That's why the people, you got people who've been in the word for years and they still sick. How is that even possible? How say you affiliated with a physician and you still sick? That don't even make common sense. Because Yahushua ain't like these doctors in America who just give you pills just for the sake of keep coming you back, for you to come back. This man wants you to get healed the first time you come. He don't want to keep treating you. He's trying to heal you the first time. You're the one refusing the medicine. That's what we at with it. Or you going to people who ain't down with it, so they ain't got no medicine to give you. Verse 3, therefore, son of Adam, prepare your stuff for removing, and remove by day in their sight, and you shall remove from your place to another place in their sight. It may be they will consider they a rebellious house. You shall bring forth your stuff by day in their sight as stuff for removing, and you shall go forth in their sight as they that go forth into captivity. And in their sight you shall bear upon shoulders, and carry forth in the twilight, and you shall cover your face, and you shall not see the ground, for I have set you a sign unto the house of Yasharal. See, you got to understand, son, he was using Ezekiel as a miraculous sign. Because he knew that these people didn't believe. He just said they were a rebellious house. They had eyes to see but couldn't see, and ears to hear but they couldn't hear. Now, of course, you know that Yahushua fulfilled this because he got his stuff moved for removing, and he was taken into captivity, and he bared it on his shoulder. And they saw the sign and missed it because they don't know the word. Because Yahushua is the fulfilling of every sign in the book. He's the miraculous wonder in the book, and they missed it because you know why? This people like being slaves. But I'm not talking about being slaves to Mr. Charlie. I'm talking about being slave to sin, being slave to the world, and being slave to the lust of the eyes and the lust of the flesh. This people like being in sin. They like being a slave. That's why the man say, if the truth shall set you free, you shall be free indeed. He that commits sin is the servant of sin. That man said, if you commit sin, you a slave to it. That means you still a slave to Egypt. You still a slave to Egypt. You didn't put the blood on the doorpost of your house like your forefathers did. That's why you still in bondage. But every Passover, you come around getting dressed up, talking all that nonsense. Boy, you ain't been set free. You got everybody, this is our Independence Day. I ain't celebrating Passover as if it's like the 4th of July. Man, we look at Passover, man, we set free from sin. I don't know nothing about being in captivity in Egypt, but I know about being in sin, and he set me free. So I'm going to esteem that. Man, don't you know this man, grace and mercy is freedom? That's how he give you the issue to escape from the issues of death. He gave you the ability to escape from death. Because that's what's got you in bondage. Sin got you in bondage to death, so he set you free. You won't appreciate it. You know what I'm talking about? We want to play dress up. We want to play games. Matter of fact, before I continue in this Ezekiel, man, just come to Luke 16 on general principle. Yeah, there we go. 16 to 26, man. Luke 16 and 26. And besides all this between us and you, well, verse 25, but Abraham said, son, remember that you in your lifetime received your good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted and you are tormented. And besides all this between us and you, there's a great gulf fixed, so that they would pass from hence. To you cannot, neither can they pass to us that from thence. Then he said, I pray you therefore, Abba, that you will send him to my Abba's house. For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them that they also, lest they also come into this place of torment. Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them. Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them. Abraham said unto him, they have Moses and the prophets. Let them hear them. He said, nay, Abba Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. He said unto him, if they will not hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. Now, if somebody rose from the dead, what would we be able to consider that as? That would be considered a sign, would it not? Would that not be a miraculous event? Well, if they ain't going to believe the word, a sign ain't going to do it. You know what I'm talking about? And why do I say that? I don't give a damn what you niggas build. If they ain't going to hear the word, nigga, it don't matter. They still ain't going to believe. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care if you make the sky turn yellow. You know what I'm talking about? The grass turn black. I don't care if you make a white man brown. Boy, if they ain't going to believe the word, boy, it don't matter what you do. That man sitting there talking about, there's somebody talking about, boy, just give me a piece of water to cool this flame. That man said, please, just send somebody to my brother's house, man. Man, he said, boy, they got the word. He said, no. If you raised from the dead, no, they got the word. Now, what you going to do with that when the Lord said, boy, you're going to have the word, boy? So that means, you know what that tells us? Boy, you need the word every minute of the day. If your soul ain't right, do you realize that we live in a generation that minimize the importance of the word? We minimize it like it's not important. The word is Yahuwah, you jackass. The word is Yahuwah. Yahuwah is the word. With no word, you have no God. With no God, you have no life, which means you still in your sin, which means you dead. Wherever the word is, there's life. That means wherever the word is, Yahuwah is there. That's why he said when 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm in the midst, because just Yahuwah is in the midst. And he's supposed to be in the midst of your heart because he desires wisdom in the inward parts. So wherever the word is, guess what? If the word is in you, then that's 2 witnesses. You and the word, and there goes Yahuwah, and that's a wrap, man. It's confirmed. That matter is established. See, let's take a look at that in 1 John 5, what I'm saying. So you can pick up what I'm putting down. You know what I'm talking about? First John chapter 5. Verse 9. 1 John chapter 5, verse 9. If we receive the witness of men, the witness of Elohim is greater. For this is the witness of Elohim, which he testified of his son. He that believe on the son of Elohim have the witness in himself. He that believed not Elohim has made him a liar, because he believed not the record that Elohim gave of his son. This is the record that Elohim have given to us eternal life, and this life is in his son. He that have the son have life. He that have not the son of Elohim have not life. These things have I written unto you, that you believe on the name of the son of Elohim, that you may know that you have eternal life, that you may believe on the name of the Son of Elohim. And this is the confidence that we have in him, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hear us. And if we know that he hear us, whatsoever we ask, we know that we have the petitions that we desired of him. If any man see his brother sin a sin not unto death, he shall ask, and he shall give him life for them that sin not unto death. There is a sin unto death. I do not say that he shall pray for it. All unrighteousness is sin, and there is sin not unto death. We know that whosoever is born of Elohim sin, guard himself, and the wicked one touch him not. We know that we are of Elohim, and the whole world lied in wickedness. We know that the Son of Elohim has come and given us an understanding that we may know him that is true, and that we are in him that is true. In his Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. This is the true Elohim in eternal life. Little children, keep yourselves from idols. Amen. The point that we came there for was this. That man say, man, when the word in you, boy, that's a witness in yourself. And you bear witness that Elohim is true. But you got to have the word, man. If you ain't got the word, you ain't got nothing. That man say the word of Yahuwah abide forever. Let me show it to you if you don't know what I'm talking about. Isaiah 40. I ain't got to show it to you, Peter. We get it out of the Old Testament for the niggas that say, I don't believe in the New Testament, like somebody asked or cares. That's another problem, too, with a lot of people out here, man. We believe that it's our purpose to try to prove to people that the New Testament is factual. Isaiah 40:1. I ain't proving nothing. I don't care. Okay, you don't believe it. What I'm supposed to do? If I done admonished you once and admonished you twice, I'm good. I'm done. If you don't want to receive my testimony, I'm done. I'm not gonna prove nothing to you. That's what I told them niggas earlier. I ain't gotta prove nothing to you. What I look like? I'm a man. I'm not proving nothing to you. Once I don't let you know what I stand on, man, what it is and what it ain't, man, that's proof enough. So you want me to go back and forth with you like a broad? I ain't finna do it. I said what I said, man. You don't believe it? That's fine, bro. I'm gonna go about my business. I ain't gonna lose no sleep. I don't care. Oh, you thought I supposed to sat here and convinced you? I'm already convinced. I done told you before. Man, people only do that because you're trying to convince yourself. When you are already confident and convinced and persuaded in what you believe in, you ain't got to convince nobody of nothing. Not convincing you with nothing. For what? If my word wasn't good enough, ain't nothing going to be good enough for you. So what's the point? Isaiah 40:1. Comfort you, my people, saith your Elohim. Speak you comfortably to Jerusalem. Cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned, that she have received of Yahuwah's hands double for her sins. Let's just talk about being pardoned. We still got to go back to the book of Exodus. I got a lot of things coming in and out of my mind, man. Just bear with me. So when we look at pardon, of course, this is rasah, and that is to be pleased, to accept favorably. This man has accepted you. Your warfare is put to an end. It's over. It's full. It's malay. It's complete. It's accomplished. It's ended. He did that as forth as the manifestation of Yahushua beating death, like we talked about in Daniel 9:24. He said, the voice of him that cry in the wilderness, prepare you the way Yahuwah, make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked shall be made straight, and the rough places plain. So he that exalts himself shall be abased, and he that humbleth himself shall be exalted. And then he came through to turn sinners into saints. The esteem of Yahuwah shall be revealed, all flesh shall see together, for the mouth of Yahuwah has spoken. The voice said, cry, and he said, what shall I cry? All flesh grass, and all the goodliness thereof as the flower of the field. The grass wither, the flower fade, because the ruach of Yahuwah blow upon it. Surely the people grass. The grass wither, the flower fade, but the word of our Elohim shall stand forever. What a word is, there is eternity. No word, no eternity. That's why he said he'll put it in your heart and in your mind. He'll give you his ruach. That's why people ain't got no eternity. You ain't got no word. I ain't talking about because you can recite a precept. I ain't talking about because you can show somebody something. I'm talking about it's in you. It's in you. It's a part of you. It's who you are. It's how you move. And the fruit bear witness in how you live. Because you've been set free. And that is a literal sign. Do you not understand that the Ruach HaKodesh is a sign that you remember being brought up out of Egypt? It's also a mark because it shows that you're exempt from Elohim's judgment. It also shows your desire because your desire was to your maker, because you would rather live to him that rose from the dead than to live for yourself. Whoa, what was I at before Isaiah 40? You remember what I was at before? Don't feel bad because I don't remember, and I'm reading. I'm sorry. Oh, Ezekiel 12. That's what we got. Praise the Lord. Man, take it serious. I done told y'all a long time ago, man. Don't study. That's what dude just told me in that room. He was like, "You're trying to say you're an Israelite. You're taking somebody else's culture, this, that, there, and the third." And I had to tell him, it ain't their culture. It's Yahuwah's culture. It ain't your heritage. It's Yahuwah's heritage. It's all Yahuwah's. It's all Yahuwah's. Ain't no such thing as Hebrew culture. Because if it's your culture, that means you came up with it. You didn't come up with it. Yahuwah came up with it. It ain't your heritage because you ain't got no inheritance. Meaning you ain't got nothing that you can bestow and bequeath to another person. Yahuwah gave you that, so it's Yahuwah's heritage. Because you his inheritance. Yahuwah's not your inheritance. Like, we got to be serious, man. And I say that not to besmirch or begrudge anybody. I say that because Yahuwah is not getting the honor and esteem worthy to his name. We're not esteeming this man. We're not praising this man. We're not honoring this man. And we're not giving all esteem due to the man who redeemed you from death, because you steady making it about you. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm sick of it, man. I'm dead serious, bro. I hate that junk, bro. I hate it. Because it's about Yahuwah. It's not about you. The minute you understand that it's about Yahuwah, you very well begin to be able to get some profit and prospering from the word, because now you can actually humble yourself that he can actually exalt you and be a benefit to your soul. That's what them goofy niggas in that room couldn't understand. I'm not going to sit here and talk to you about proving we Israelite. We're talking about being sons of God, man. I'm not talking to you about that. What am I talking to you about that for? Who that's going to benefit a prophet? Man, I ain't no hoe, man. You know what I'm talking about? Meaning, my mama only had one daughter. My daddy only had one daughter. I'm one of 5 sons, man. Ain't no pussy over here, man. I'm not going back and forth with you niggas like some broad, man, to prove some point. What the hell I look like, man? Man, my daddy and my granddaddy roll over in their grave, man. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, Damon Andrews will come up out the Gulf of Mexico and slap the pure taste out my mouth. The hell you doing? The hell wrong with you? Be a man. Men don't do that. You ain't see Yahusha walk around going back and forth with these niggas consistently and incessantly about nothing. These men were asking him questions. This man stooped down and wrote in the dirt like he ain't even him. These men were asking him all these questions. This man ain't say nothing. He say, man, you was in the temple. You heard what I taught. Go ask him. They say, man, you ain't going to say nothing for yourself. This man ain't say nothing. Not going through that with you niggas, man. Be a man. Since I said that, 1 Corinthians 16. I meant to do this 1 Corinthians 16 last week. I gotta interpret it in, man. I gotta work it in, man, on what I want to deal with on that 1 Corinthians 16. It wasn't the Lord's will for me to do it last week. Maybe it be His will for me to do it this evening, because I wanted to do it this evening. It slipped my mind, but by the grace of Elohim, praise be to Yahuwah, it came right back. 1 Corinthians 16 and 13. Watch you, stand fast in the faith, quit you like men, and be strong. What did that mean? When you talking about watch, man, give strict attention to. Take heed. He say, let something destructive come over here and take you. Pause for a minute. Come over here to this Hebrew 2, man. After I hit the Hebrew 2, man, I give you something out the law with it with the Deuteronomy 4, man. But come around here with this Hebrew 2, man. Yeah, man. You know what I'm talking about? See, I'm gonna tell you something, man. That's why a lot of niggas don't like me, man. And I done told the brother this here, man, because it is not like the brothers can't do this for themselves. But when it come to our crew, that the brother that made music, man, you know what I'm saying? I feel like the album on the Chronic, man, I can't be faded. When I say I'm not talking about I singularly, I'm just talking about the group as a whole. I personally believe, from my personal perspective, and it's not the bias, even though you could say that because these are my friends. You know what I'm talking about? That their music is better than most. And not because it's them, but because of the manifestation of the influence of Yahuwah on their life and the authenticity of the revelation of the impact of the word of Yahuwah on their life and the things that they have encountered since they've been serving Yahuwah or before they served Yahuwah that allowed the word to be a continual benefit on their life and the authenticity of that being placed in the music, because Yahuwah is being esteemed and praised through said music, through the awesome authenticity of reality. You know what I'm talking about? Nothing pretentious, nothing sanctimonious, nothing inauthentic, nothing fake or phony for the purpose of, we mentioned in word and this, that, there, and the third. No goofy stuff. You know what I'm talking about? And, I am a proponent to believe that I would go in any space, anywhere, because how I operate is if I step in the room, my whole crew is with me, whether they're physically or not. And I'm going to advocate for them, and I'm going to promote them. And if there's an opportunity for me to get them in a particular space where their words and music can be heard, that Yahuwah can be esteemed, then I'm going to do that. But I also know it's a lot of goofball, cornball, sucker niggas in this space. And I don't want to be around them niggas because I know that I'm going to offend them. I don't care about the offense. I just don't want to deal with them because I'm not on that type of time that a lot of these people is on. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I'm not promoting them for the purpose of elevating them. I want to promote them for the purpose that I believe their music will be beneficial, just as the text say in Colossians, to make spiritual songs, to make melody in your heart to the Lord. Just like I say, that's why I sent y'all that song, man. The sign is the word. That is a spiritual song that you can make melody in your heart to the Lord. This is to be able to, somebody can sit back and say, when they hear this particular record, that I can identify with what he's saying. And maybe that, because at the end of the day, you could say you want truth music to go mainstream. It's for saints. That music is not going to appeal to an unbeliever. And if you think it is, you lying to yourself. You know what I'm talking about? So I already know that this is for saints, and these brothers are singing with understanding. So my desire, if Yahuwah permit, is for that to be able to be put in the hands of more people so that they can hear it and that they can identify it, and maybe it could be able to do something for their heart when they move around and they listen to that record and bring joy to their heart. And maybe it'll cause them to look at the word in a different fashion because of it. And if Yahuwah can be esteemed in the midst of that, then praise be to Yahuwah, because that's the only objective. The objective is for Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua to be esteemed, praised, and honored on every cut and corner in any fashion that it can be accomplished. Do you know what I'm talking about? That's what it's about. If it ain't about that with you, what are you in the game for? You nigga, you in the way. You're in the way. Get out the way. Nobody wants to deal with you, man. Nobody hang with you, slang with you, bang with you, do any type of gangster things with you because you are goofy. You're a weirdo. You're fake, you're flawed, and you think that people can't see that. But nigga, we can see you. When I say see you, I'm talking about Yada, man. We can recognize you. You're not a god. We can see it. We can see you, bro. You're naked. Hebrews 2:1. Therefore, we ought to give the more earnest heed to the things which we have heard, lest at any time we should let slip. So when you sit back and you talking about watch you, man, you better give heed to what you done heard, man. You know what I'm saying? Lest it be disastrous for you because it fall out your mind. That's why he say, since you didn't like to keep the knowledge of Elohim in your mind, he said he gonna give you over to a reprobate mind and do them things that's not convenient, man. Ain't nothing pending about that, man. You know what I'm talking about? Look over to Deuteronomy 4, man. Your baby crazy. Deuteronomy 4:1. You talking about as if you have a level of sanity. Now therefore hearken, O Yasharal, unto the statutes, unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do, that you may live and go in and possess the land which Yahuwah your Elohim and your Abbas give you. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall you diminish from it, that you may keep the instructions of Yahuwah your Elohim which I command you. Your eyes have seen what Yahuwah did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that follow Baal Peor, Yahuwah your Elohim have destroyed them from among you. But you that did cleave unto Yahuwah your Elohim, alive every one of you this day, behold, I taught you statutes and judgments, even as Yahuwah my Elohim commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess. Keep therefore and do. For this, your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations which are here, all these statutes, and say, surely this great nation, a wise and understanding people. For what nation great who have an Elohim so near unto them, as Yahuwah our Elohim, and all we call upon him. That's just what you heard of 1 John. And what nation great that have statutes and judgments, righteous is all this law which I set before you. Only take heed to yourself and keep your soul diligently, lest you forget the things which your eyes have seen, and lest they depart from your heart all the days of your life, but teach them your sons and your sons' sons. So know that he's talking to the men. Teach that to them young men, the same way you seen that in Exodus 13. Teach that to your son. See, one of the biggest problems, I go back to what I was talking about last week, man. Men have to teach men for men to become men. And we're not doing that. Let me tell you something, man. I ain't gonna tell you no lie. Brother said it earlier, man. And he ain't lied, bro. You guys feel like you hear a woman, I want to be empowered. I don't want no empowered woman. Because an empowered woman don't want to be a woman. You want to be a man. And if you want to be a man, you need to go get with a woman. Because I don't want that. You know what I'm talking about? What am I do with that? Because if you ain't seeking to be empowered through your Elohim, then what you want power? Because if you say empowered, you want power, which means you want authority. So what you want power in? What do you want power in? And why would I want a woman who won't? Because eventually, if you want power, you're going to want power over me. I don't want that. See, some people say, oh, man, you want a woman. I don't want a woman to be nothing but a woman, man. And one thing for certain, two things for sure, man. I wasn't taught nor instructed to let a woman rule and have power over me. Why would I want to be that? That means at that point, I'm not a man. Only one got power and rule over me, and that's Yahushua HaMashiach. So why would I put a woman in a place that she don't need to be? Because if you want to be in power, you want to be a man. I don't like men. Just because you have a female body, that means I would be attracted to a man's mind. Now I got to begin to question myself, am I homosexual? Because though this woman is attractive physically, I'm attracted to the mindset of a man. Why do I find the mind of a man desirable to be intimate with? That don't even make sense. The same token that ain't none of these women find a man who has the mind of a woman desirable, she begins to be disgusted. So why wouldn't you think it'd be on the other side with a man? Who wants that? See, this is the thing. You can do whatever you want. I ain't gonna fool with it. I wouldn't advise a man to fool with it. You're gonna be miserable. And ain't nothing wrong if a woman want to be empowered, but you're gonna have a weak man. You're not gonna have a strong man. Because a strong man not dealing with that. Because he doesn't have to. See, a lot of men, man, bro was talking about this earlier, and I believe this wholeheartedly. He put it in better words. I didn't say it, but not in the word that he said. He was just talking about this gender war thing people got going on. And he right. Ain't no such thing as a gender war. You know the only niggas who fighting a gender war? Niggas who mad that women don't want them. So all they getting on the internet is argue, fussing, and fighting about women who don't want them. And the women are argue, fussing, and fighting about men who don't want them. You know what I'm talking about? And they don't want them because they're not attractive. They don't want them because what you want out of life, the people that you want don't want it. So you got to get on the internet and cry about it. Because you know why? I've told you this before, and I'll tell you this again. There is not a woman on the face of the earth that is a threat. It's not a woman. Because you talking about war, you talking about battle. So if you talking about you in a gender war, that means you see a woman as a threat. And I'm here to tell you, boy, there's not a woman on earth that is a threat anywhere on the planet. There is not a government system. There's not a country. There's not a military that is in fear or in awe or in trepidation about a woman anywhere. Anywhere. Why would anybody be in fear of a woman when a woman doesn't even have the physical ability to cause a man to stand down? She doesn't even have the ability to stop men from being violent. So how is she a threat? This is not anything to be disrespectful. These are realities of life. We don't have to understand this because nobody will say it. Because you're more concerned with kowtowing and capitulating to whoever because you don't want to offend nobody. And this is why people are not dealing in realities of life. That's why when you seen in the text, they weren't slaying the firstborn daughters of Yasharal. They didn't do it during the time of Herod, and they didn't do it in the time of Pharaoh. Because if the woman was a threat, they would have been killing the firstborn daughters. That's not what they were doing. They were killing the firstborn son because the men are the threat. If the women were a threat, then you wouldn't be getting taken captive in war for somebody to humble you. And you would have to put off the bondage, the garment of your captivity if you were a threat. You got to understand that in reality of life. If you're talking about going to war, if you're talking about a revolution, ain't no revolution being fought on the backs of no woman. Man, if we walk out there with a group of women talking about we going to war, we starting a revolution, then people gonna laugh at you, man. What about Harriet Tubman? That wasn't no revolution, boy. Wasn't nobody fighting. Because when you go to talking about who was rebelling, it was men. You go to talking about what happened in Haiti, those were men. You go to talking about Nat Turner, those were men. You go to talking about them Geechee uprisings, those were men. That's who did that. Because she gonna get behind the man and say, fight for me, protect me. She ain't going in front of the man and say, I'm gonna die for you and protect you. That's not happening. That's not happening. Because I'm trying to tell you, I don't care how strong any of these women think they is, man. When them bullets go to flying, that femininity coming out. Meaning the softness, the weaker vessel, that's coming out because she ain't trying to jump in front of no bullets, man. She ain't trying to do that. And I ain't mad at her for not trying to do that. She ain't supposed to. She ain't supposed to. Like I told you, you looking for a woman to die for you. You looking for a woman to take care of you. You's a sucker. You know what I'm talking about? You's a whole sucker for the rest of your days, man, till you get yourself together. She's not doing that, bro. Deal with it. You know what I'm talking about? If you don't like it, the only reason you don't like it because you can't get no women, bro. That's why you mad. You know what I'm talking about? That's why you mad. But of course, you know, this is also the only society in the world that puts a premium on women who are not virgins. I just heard a woman say she had sex with 2,000 people. I didn't even think something like that was possible. Do you know the amount of physical? You could have been doing nothing with your 2,000 people. This woman don't even look like she was 30. Ain't that much sex in the world, man. I don't want to have sex with 2,000 people. Well, I'm talking about 2,000. Ain't 2,000 beautiful women on earth that I'd be like, yeah, well, I want to have sex with all of them. Absolutely not. Man, we were riding, man. I was telling Jimmy, man, we were looking at the clip, man. They say Brittany Renner poured water on Charlton White's face. But see, he set himself up to get the water poured on him because he let this woman straddle him. You know what I'm talking about? I'm telling him, bro, I wouldn't care how good looking a woman was. And I ain't saying this because I'm in the word, because I would have did it if I wasn't in the word. Man, ain't no woman who I don't know is finna come sit in my lap, man. Because as soon as she go to approaching it, I'm like, hey, man, what are you doing? And we in public? Do you have no shame? I'm not finna disrespect myself like this by letting this woman straddle me in front of people. Man, I don't know you. You know what I'm saying? This ain't even got to do with no godliness. Just as a man, baby, you just disrespected me. You just thought I was the type of dude who you could just come and do that and I would be around. Oh, you so fine. Man, if you don't get your goofy behind from around me, man, baby, you ain't got no respect for yourself. I respect myself. I'm not finna let you do that. Yeah, man. Yeah, that's the song I'm talking about. That song hard too, man. We trying to find out how we can link up with Shorty too, man, because she got some beautiful vocals on top of that. But that's definitely the song I'm talking about, man. Definitely is. Praise you, Lord. Well, I love and respect myself, bro. I done did that in real life before the word. Like, baby, what are you doing? I'm not doing that. You ain't that pretty. Your coochie ain't that valuable. You think I'm finna jump through hoops? And look here, man, you think I'm finna jump through hoops for a vagina that you gave to a nigga for free? You think I'm finna do all that? You out your rabbit mind. My mama taught me better than that. I'm not doing that. I'm not looking at you like you this, that, that, and the third. But come on, man. There's a man who didn't have to do any of those things you trying to get me to do to get the same result. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing all that. I'm not jumping through no hoops to be with you. Why would I do that? And that's the same thing how we treat Yahuwah. You think he's supposed to jump through hoops to be with you? You out your rabbit mind, boy. You think you dictate to Yahuwah what he gonna do and when he gonna do it. You smoking crack. You huffing paint. They put Freon in the ACs. People still huff Freon. I don't think people do that no more, do it. Yeah, they used to do that in the 90s. Some of y'all don't know nothing about that. They used to do that in the 90s. I think they took Freon out of AC units because people used to huff the Freon out of the AC unit, man. It caused them to being in a hallucinate. I think I told you about that before, man. I told you, man, them niggas used to be in the apartment talking about I'm Batman and you the Joker. They chasing each other, man, all this type of stuff. I'm not huffing that, man. White boys still huff paint? People still do that? I just ain't heard of it no more. Of course, I definitely don't consume a lot of network news and things of that sort, and I'm not around a lot of young people, so I don't know if they. When I say young people, I'm talking about teenagers. I guess they just pop perks now. I guess they just pop perks and oxys, man, and Roxys and Lord Tabs and smoke Flocka and take Molly. These niggas, young crackheads out here. That's a doggone shame. You know, we got shame for being a man. I had a homeboy who snorted cocaine for damn near 3-4 years, and none of us knew it because it was a shame to be known to snort cocaine. These niggas just don't care about being a crackhead. That's the world we live in, man. It's unfortunate. Verse 9, though. Only take heed to yourself and keep your soul diligently, lest you forget the things which your eye have seen, lest they depart from your heart all the days of your life, but teach them your sons and your sons' sons, the day that you stood before Yahuwah, your Elohim and Horab, when Yahuwah said unto me, gather me the people together, and I will make them hear my words, that they may learn to fear me all the days that they shall live upon the earth, and that they may teach their sons. Let's come back to 1 Corinthians 16. Man. That's what it means to watch you, man. You better remember that word unless you forget it and you get yourself in trouble. He tell you to stand fast, man. That's to persevere, to persist, to keep one standing, which the Hebrew equivalent is amad, to take your stand in the faith, in the emunah, in the amath, in the amam. You know what I'm talking about? You got to take your stand on that word, man. And that man say, quit you. Like men, what does that mean to quit you? To show bravery, to show yourself a man. Well, how do you show bravery to show yourself a man? To act manly. You know I don't need no excuse. Isaiah 26. You know, you cutting your eyes. You trying to fight or something? You got a problem? I can fix it. I know several ways to fix problems. I know math. I know addition. I know multiplication. Okay. Isaiah 26, man. I'll pick it up at verse 1. And that day shall this song be sung in the land of Yehuda. We have a strong city. Salvation will appoint walls and bulwarks. Open you the gates of the righteous nation, which keep the truth may enter in. You will keep in perfect shalom, mind stayed, because he trusts in you. Trust in Yahuwah forever. For in Yahuwah is everlasting strength. You know what I'm talking about? So when you want to talk about quit you like a man to show bravery, you show your bravery by trusting in Yahuwah. How do we know this? Hebrews 12 on general principle. Hebrews 12 on general principle. I said 12. That's my bad. It's Hebrews 11. And I'm going to pick it up at verse 24 on general principle. Hebrews 11 and 24. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of Elohim than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. See, that's quitting like a man. That's showing bravery. You know what level of bravery it took to forsake Pharaoh's house and say, I suffer with the sons of God? The people of God, you know what level of bravery that takes? That's showing yourself a man. Esteeming the reproach of a Mashiach greater riches than the treasures in Mizraim, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. By faith he forsook Mizraim, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. That's taking your stand in the faith. Now, of course, this is referring back to the law, and of course, this is referring back to the signs which brought you out of slavery, which is exactly what Yahushua did. Yahushua chose to suffer with y'all than to stay in Shamahim. You know what I'm talking about? He could have stayed in Shamahim. He said, I'm going to come suffer with y'all. And he didn't. Let me show you what he told about Herod. Come on, man. Praise be to Yahuwah. Come over here to what it is. Luke, man. What is it? Luke 13? Yeah, man. Luke 13 and 31. I just show you he ain't had no fear of Herod. Kidding about no Herod. Listen to what he said, man. Luke 13 and 31. The same day there came certain of the Pharisees saying unto him, get you out and depart from hence, for Herod will kill you. He said unto them, go you and tell that fox, behold, I cast out devils and I do cures today and tomorrow, and the third I shall be perfected. He said, you go tell that bastard this. This is what you go tell him. Talking about I need to slide. That's the same thing Sanballat was trying to do to Nehemiah, because Nehemiah showed himself as a man with bravery and stood fast in the faith. Caring about what you talking about, trying to put fear in me and call me to sin. He showed himself a man. You want to show yourself a man, you want to show self-strength, you got to have trust in Yahuwah. You ain't showing yourself a man, you ain't got no trust in Yahuwah. You say you serve God, you are lying back. Since I said that about Nehemiah, man, I want to make sure that point get hammered home. You know what I'm talking about? Come over here to Nehemiah 6, man. I think we just talked about it not too long ago, but we're going to talk about it again. Let Elohim be esteemed. Nehemiah 6 and 1. Now it came to pass when Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem, the Arabian, and the rest of our enemies heard that I builded the wall, and there was no breach left therein, although at that time I had not set up the doors upon the gates. That Sanballat and Geshem said unto me, saying, come, let us meet together in the villages in the plain of Ono, but they thought to do me mischief. He said, boy, they thought to do me mischief. Shalom, shalom, says shalom. So listen what he said. And I sent messages unto them saying, I doing a great work, so that I cannot come down. Why should the work cease while I leave it to come down to you? You sent unto me 4 times after this sort, and I answered them after the same manner. Then Sanballat his servant unto me in like manner the 5th time, with an open letter in his hand, wherein was written, it is reported among the heathen, and Gashemu say that you and the Yahudim think to rebel, for which cause you build the wall, that you may be their king according to these words. And you have also appointed prophets to preach to you at Jerusalem, saying, Amalek in Yehuda. And now it shall be reported to the king according to these words. Come now, therefore, and let us take counsel together. Which, of course, you know that's representative of Yahushua sending the apostles, because the apostles were preaching to him, and the people were upset. Then said I unto them, saying, there are no such things done as you say, but you feign them out of your own heart. For they all made us afraid, saying their hands shall be weakened from the work, that it be not done. Now, therefore, strengthen my hands. You know what I'm talking about? Now, look who he asked to strengthen his hands. He asking Yahuwah to do it. If you're going to watch you got to remember that word. You got to take your stand in the faith, and you got to show bravery. And you show bravery through your trust in Yahuwah, because that's where your strength comes from. That's how you show yourself a man. It's for them to what 1 Corinthians 16 say, so you can get an understanding from the text what that means. I think we did enough out of that. Hold on, I'm gonna make sure I ain't missing. Yeah. Let me keep going. Verse 10. And I came into the house of Shemaiah, the son of Deliah, the son of Methabil, who shut up, and he said, let us meet together in the house of Elohim within the temple, and let us shut the doors of the temple, for they will come to slay you, yea, and in the night they will come to slay you, just like they came to slay Mashiach in the night. And I said, such a man as I flee. Did Mashiach run? No, he did not. And who? That, as I would go into the temple to save his life, I will not go in. And lo, I perceived that Elohim had not sent him, but he pronounced this prophecy against me, for Tobiah and Sanballat had hired him. Therefore he hired that I should be afraid and do so in sin. that they might have an evil report, that they might reproach me. See, let me tell you something, man. Remember when he tell you he didn't give you the ruach of fear and the fearful and the unbelieving? Because perfect love cast out fear. Because fear have torment. That man say, man, if I be afraid and do so, I'm a sin. Because anything that's not of faith is sin. Because if you afraid, that means your faith ain't right. What you scared of? You supposed to remember the word. You watch you. You remember the word, lest what you heard is slip. You take your stand in the faith, and that's what give you your strength. To show yourself a man, to show that bravery in the face of opposition. You know what I'm talking about? That takes us back to the righteous are batak as a lion. You got confidence. You got trust in Yahuwah. May Elohim think upon Tobiah and Sanballat according to these their works, and the prophetess Nodiah and the rest of the prophets that would have put me in fear. Look at it was false prophets around there trying to put him in fear to stop him from doing what Yahuwah sent him to do. Can't have no fear. Screw him. You know what I'm talking about? You got to be able to quench the fiery darts of the wicked, man. You know, they shoot at the perfect in secret. That's what the book say. Bump them. You know what I'm saying? I would say something, but I ain't going to say it because you're turning here. Come on, back to 1 Corinthians 16, man. He said, 1 Corinthians 16 and 13. Watch you, stand fast in the faith, quit you like men, be strong. Strengthen, to make strong, to increase in strength. Continually grow in the faith, man. Continually grow in the faith, and you can show forth that bravery. Hebrews chapter 11, I'm sorry. I think I stopped at verse 27, Hebrews 11. By faith he forsake Mizraim, not fearing the wrath of the Malach, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible. Through faith he kept the Passover and the sprinkling of the blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. By faith passed through the Red Sea as by dry, which the Egyptians are saying to do, were drowned. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they were compassed about 7 days. By faith, the harlot Rahab perished not with them that believed not, when she had received the spies with shalom. See, this is another aspect, too, that I don't think we ever sat down and dealt with in regards to them coming in the land and destroying them nations. The nations got destroyed because they ain't believe in Yahuwah. Don't you know if they heard what happened in Egypt and everything that Yahuwah did, and that them men would come and they should have submitted themselves unto Yahuwah? Not submitted themselves under Yasharal, but submitted themselves unto Yahuwah. And they didn't do that. They sought to fight against Yahuwah because they believed that they could beat him. And I guess you know what happened to him. Verse 32. And what more shall I say? The time would fail me to tell of Gideon and Barak and Samson and Jephthah and David also and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, work righteousness, obtain promises, stop the mouth of lions, quench the violence of fire, escape the edge of the sword, out of weakness were made strong, wax valiant in fight, turn the flight the armies of the aliens. Women received their dead raised to life again. Others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they might obtain a better resurrection. And others had trial of mockings and scourgings, and moreover bonds and imprisonment. They were stoned, they were sawn asunder, were tempted, were slain with the sword. They wandered about in sheepskins and goatskins, being destitute, afflicted, and tormented, of whom the world was not worthy. They wandered in deserts and mountains and dens and caves of the earth. All these men showed themselves a man and the level of strength that it took to pull off what they was on. Now I don't remember where I was at. Hold on. Maybe it just happened. It did. It definitely did. So, think about that, man. Weigh that in your heart. And I didn't want y'all to consider that when you talk about watch you, stand fast in the faith, quit you like a man, and be strong. You know what I'm saying? The strength comes from Yahuwah, man. Don't let nobody tell you no. And how you gonna be strong to take your stand in the faith if you ain't got no word? What you standing on? You know what I'm talking about? What is you standing on? Now let's come back to Ezekiel 12, man. I got a lot to deal with, man. There's so many things that I want to touch on, man, when it comes to this here, man. You know what I'm talking about? Let me see, man, about verse 8. Matter of fact, yeah. That's what we're going to do. Verse 7, excuse me. And I did so as I was commanded. I brought forth my stuff by day as the stuff for captivity. And in the evening I digged through the wall with my hand and brought forth in the twilight. I bear upon shoulder in their sight. And in the morning came the word of Yahuwah unto me, saying, Son of Adam, not the house of Yasharal, the rebellious house, said unto you, what do you? Say unto them, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, this burden, the prince of Jerusalem, and all the house of Yasharal, that among them. Now remember, Ezekiel was not the prince. He was not the prince at that particular time. What was Ezekiel's job position? He was a high priest. He was not the prince. He said this burden pertained to the prince. I just want to talk to you about a burden. What is it? Man, let me wrap up with this here, man, because we have a service a day early because of the storm. I'm going to call you right back. You hear me, man? I would try that right there, man. The phone locked up. So when you look at burden, man, it's masah. It's load. It's burden. It's lifting. You know what I'm saying? Uplifting, bearing, carrying. That burden is for one person, the prince. That burden wasn't for Ezekiel. You know what I'm talking about? And if you don't know who the prince is, that should be Sar there. That's Nasi. One lifted up, the chief, the prince, the captain, the leader. And of course, you know Yahushua is the captain of our salvation. That burden was for him. Verse 11, say, I your sign, like I have done, so it shall be done unto them. They shall remove eyes. So when this man say I'm your sign, sign here is mo faith. Mean, pay, tile. It's a wonder. It's a sign, a token of a future event, a wonder, a display of Elohim's power. Think about that. Little different word, same deal. Little different word, same deal. So this particular instance, when it's talking about sign, it's talking about something that's going to happen in the future. Remember, right? I always ask all this question. I'll ask it to Boop right now. When Ezekiel was alive, where was he present, Boop? He was in Babylon. And if he was in Babylon, what was the state of Yasharal at that particular time? They were exiled. Let's look at Ezekiel. Look at Ezekiel. Right, muffle, relax. Just relax. Ezekiel chapter 1. Let's take a look at it to confirm it through the text. We do this a lot just so people can know and understand what we're about to go to later. Ezekiel 1:1. Now it came to pass in the 30th year, in the 4th and the 5th of the month, and as I among the captives by the river Kabar and Shamahim were open, and I saw the visions of Elohim. See, a lot of brothers will sit back and they'll read this stuff in Ezekiel, and they will overlook the fact that how is he talking about Israel being taken out of the land if they were already out of it? That means he was talking about something that was coming later. That means you were coming back to leave again. So when you see Daniel talking about the temple will be built back for Mashiach, this is why you were going, he telling you, yeah, you coming back for this, and then you're going to leave again. Now, let's take a look at captives just over here in this Ezekiel 1, just in case you think it's a game. Captives here is Golah, that's exiles, exile, captivity. Carried away, removed. Did he tell you to get your stuff together for removing? It was a sign, and they missed it. So we're going to look at Yahushua getting taken into captivity for removing as a sign, and they missed it because the sign is the word. You know what I'm talking about? The word, all the sign you need, and you miss it. What Paul say? The Greeks seek after wisdom and the Yahudim seek after a miracle. You know what I'm talking about? And he told you, you ain't getting, he said a wicked and adulterous generation seek after a miracle. See, he didn't call your forefathers in Egypt a wicked and adulterous generation because they had never experienced Yahuwah to be wicked and adulterous for him to say that. But once you came up out of Mizraim and you dwelt in that land, you were always asking for signs. You ask for signs because you don't believe. That's why dudes say, man, why ain't no miracles? Because he don't believe for real. So he need to see somebody get healed. Then he'll believe in the power of God. I need to see somebody speaking in tongues. Then I'll believe. Why nobody ain't resurrected from nobody from the dead? Why you ain't doing this here? You know, there's a difference from people who believe the word and don't need no sign. Because they know the sign is the word. I don't need to see no miracle. I'm convinced off the strength of his word. These niggas don't believe the word. And that's why, of course, they heard me. That's why them niggas were pissing me off. Asking me all them stupid asinine questions, man, and think I'm finna go back and forth with you. Boy, I ain't no sucker. Ain't no lame, man. Ain't no square. Pussy nigga, I know what you doing. See, I know some people finna, how you say he got the word and he said, I call you a pussy because you a coward. You less than a man. If that offends you, so be it. It is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? You're less than a man. Because the same people who wouldn't want me to say that would be mad at the Lord and John the Baptist when they say, oh, generation of vipers, who told you to flee from the wrath to come? Do you know how disrespectful that is for men in that time to look at somebody and call them a band of snakes? That wasn't something kindly that they received. Do you not know that Yahushua offended the scribes and Pharisees on every cut and corner, and he relished in every opportunity to do so? You know why? Because he said, you are those who justify yourselves, but Elohim know your heart, and that which is highly esteemed among men is an abomination to God. See, he already know you want to be righteous in your own mind because you want the esteem of men. Man, we don't seek to be, we say, man, how can you believe we seek honor one from another and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Man, that's all we about around these part, man. What type of time you want? Let me tell you something, man. I can link up with anybody, anywhere, at any time. I ain't got no problem with it, man. By the grace of Yahuwah, man, I believe that no matter what city I go in, man, I'll be good. Because I know how to move around and interact with people, man. I know how to ingratiate myself to people, man. Shoot, I ingratiated myself in 3 different neighborhoods that I wasn't from, and they looked up, and I was selling work in their neighborhood, man, and I ain't had no beef and pressure overall with them people, man. Because before I started hustling in that neighborhood, I ingratiated myself to the community before I made that move. I remember when I was in Justina, man, my homeboy said, boy, I know what you're doing. I said, man, just be quiet, man. You know what I'm saying? He said, boy, I see what you're doing. He knew what I was doing. You know what I'm talking about? I'm moving around. You know what I'm talking about? I'm showing myself freely to people. I'm ingratiating myself around with these people because I know that this is a treacherous game that we playing. And then look up and I'm selling work. Ain't nobody got no problem because some may not like it or whatever the case may be. But the way a nigga moved and conducted himself, man, you know what? That nigga, I don't like it, but it's all good, man. You got to know how to move around and deal with people, man. You know what I'm talking about? A lot of people don't know how to do that. You got to do the same thing with the word, man. Nevertheless, man. Let me read that verse 2 for you, man. Ezekiel 1. Servants, what good, my G? In the 5th of the month, which was the 5th year of Malik Yoakin's captivity. They was in captivity, y'all. Salute, my G. They was in captivity, y'all. We didn't talk about that in that Ezekiel 5. He said it's a sign. So when you come over here to Luke, right, and you hear the Lord say this right here. Remember, we could read another Luke 22? You can also remember when he wept over Jerusalem because he didn't know the time of their visitation. They didn't know the time of their visitation. Boy, y'all finna leave here. Y'all ain't know y'all finna leave here, boy. Y'all finna come up out of here, boy. Y'all finna go somewhere else. You ain't finna stay here. What's that? I feel like I skipped it. I did. Or it's because that chapter ain't in this book. It's because that chapter ain't in this book. That's what threw me off. Luke 21 and 24. That's what threw me off. Because I'm like, boy, I know I ain't tripping. That page ain't in this book no more. Come on, man. Luke 21, man. Screw it, man. Verse 12. But before all these shall they lay their hands on you and persecute and deliver up to the synagogues and to the prisons, being brought before malics and rulers for my name's sake. Now, see, I know it's a lot of contention. A lot of people like Matthew 24 and all that stuff already been fulfilled. Some elements of it was, and some elements of it aren't. And you should be able to ascertain that through actually lining it up through Genesis to Malachi to know which parts were and which parts weren't. This is not difficult and hard to ascertain. This man was speaking of different future events in the same conversation. So when he mentioned this here, right, in verse 13, he said, it shall turn to you for a testimony. Settle therefore in your hearts not to meditate what you shall answer, for I will give you a mouth and a wisdom which your adversary shall not be able to gainsay and resist. You shall be betrayed by both parents, brethren, kinfolks, friends, and of you shall they cause to be put to death. And you shall be hated by all for my name's sake. Look at, man, during the time of the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD to this very time which we'll be living in at that particular time, man, your people going to turn on you, bro. And you're going to be hated all across the world for the name of Yahushua, man. It is what it is. That's why you got to quit you. That's why you got to watch you, stand fast in the faith, and quit you like a man. That's why you got to do that. Because I'm going to be honest with you, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't think a lot of brothers and sisters in this way are prepared for that. I don't think a lot of brothers and sisters in this way are prepared for what this man just said. That your parents, your brethren, your kinfolk, and your friends are going to turn on you. You know what I'm talking about? Not to mention those who you walk hand in hand with the word. I don't think a lot of brothers and sisters is prepared for that because ain't nobody telling them that. They got it in your mind that we just gonna leave here and slide, and it ain't gonna be nothing negative that's gonna happen. And I've told you once, and I told you twice, told you 3 times, 4 if you was listening. That a lot of people don't want their faith tested to show that they don't believe his word. That's why they just want something to happen so we can slide. Oh, no, man, that man going to manifest the secrets of your heart, man. A lot of people hate God. They hate Yahuwah with every bit of their soul. They hate what he say. They hate what he stand for. They hate his kadoshness. They hate his righteousness. They hate the fact that they got to wait on him. They hate it. And we walk around here thinking it's a game. These people got a level of hatred in this man that you couldn't even quantify with words, man. And because they can't take that wrath out on him, they're going to take it out on you. Because remember, he that despised not man, but Elohim, because he given unto us his Ruach HaKodesh. That's who they hate. Brother made a song about it. They don't hate you. They hate the book. They hate God. Because see, some people, y'all worship a book. No, we don't worship no book, man. The book is the words of my God. I worship my God, you dummy. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't no man ashamed to say that I worship God, man. That's why I will bow down in reverence to him, man. I will humble myself before his mighty power. And not only will I humble myself with my knees, I come and humble the knee. I bow the knee of my heart, man. Because everything that I am and everything that I have and everything that I got and everything that I will be descends and emanates from Yahuwah. My heart beat because of Yahuwah. The breath in my lungs come from Yahuwah. I walk because of Yahuwah. I got a mind of faith because of Yahuwah. Everything that I've ever done is because of Yahuwah. And I'm talking about before the word, because I'm still alive before I got the word because of Yahuwah. Like I told you, I wasn't looking for him. That man came and found me, man. I wasn't looking for this man. I wasn't looking for no word. The word was not in my thoughts. The word was not in my heart. It was nothing that I was desiring and looking for at all. Never been in no church, none of that, man. This man came and found me, man, and said, save yourself. And I said, self, I will save, because God said go, and I'm gone. Because when he came, I seen him for who he was, and I was out of there. And then by his grace and mercy, revealed his son in me, man, that I might share that testimony with any and everybody I come across. And boy, I've been doing that for over a decade, and y'all willing I'll do it for another. You know what I'm talking about? And I ain't got no shame in that, man, because there's a lot of stuff I don't really be mentioning that part of the game because it ain't nothing to mention. But that pussy nigga this earlier today, boy, that nigga made me hot with that, man. And I know it come along with the game, but I ain't appreciate that. I didn't appreciate him disrespecting the testimony of my God. I didn't appreciate him disrespecting the testimony of salvation. I didn't appreciate this man disrespecting the testimony of the deliverance from sin and death. I didn't appreciate that. You know what I'm talking about? That is valuable to me, man. I'm telling you, man. I told you that earlier. I'm going to tell you again, boy. Boy, Goldie was looking death in the eyes, boy, and the only thing burning in his heart was Yahuwah, man. How I'm not gonna go hard when I literally not knowing in the moment, but knowing in that next morning that I wasn't never gonna talk to my nigga again, man. That basically, man, he was laying getting because he fell asleep. We not knowing he finna fall asleep to go with his fathers, man. I'm not knowing, man, my nigga finna die. I'm not knowing that. I'm not knowing. I knowing he's sick. And he's still here. And he had been in the hospital many days on that bed, man, sick, and was still there. And this man was finna die, and he was still there, man. How I'm not gonna go hard and stand on that? How I'm not gonna represent for Yahuwah after that? How I'm not gonna ride like my man told me to ride before he died? How I'm not gonna do that, man? Because that's what he told me to do. That man told me every chance he got, man, you keep doing what you doing. You keep pushing. Bump what these people talking about, man. And my nigga was on his deathbed, boy, and he rolled out for Yahuwah to the death. How I'm not going to go hard after that. And y'all know, and I've been going 8 years since he passed, man. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what we on with that. Yeah, man. I don't know what type of YouTube channel you might have thought there was. I don't know what type of information you might have thought you were going to get. But boy, you're going to get everlasting life around here, man. I don't care about being in the cool kids club, man. I don't care about being affiliated with none of these people, man. It's not because we don't want to fool with them, because we get down with everybody, man. I ain't got no beef with you, man. We going through the same struggle, man. The same way. Ain't no beef and no pressure, but I'm going to stay sucker free, my G. I don't roll with suckers. I don't get down with suckers. I don't fool with the wicked. I don't run with the wicked. I don't run with slanderers. I don't run with busters. You show yourself to be a dishonorable man, I don't want nothing to do with you. Ain't no beef. I got, you know what I'm saying? It's love, but I don't fool with you, man. Because I'm in the word don't mean I'm finna condone dishonorable sucker stuff. I ain't doing it, bro. You stay over there with that. Well, it's death before dishonor, man. If you dishonor yourself as a man, bro, why you even breathing? You don't stand for nothing. So I know you ain't gonna stand for you, because you don't stand for honor on manhood. So I know you ain't gonna stand for honor on godliness. They don't hear me though, man. Come on, man. Where we at? Verse 16. I'll read it again. And you shall be betrayed by both parents and brethren and kinfolk and friends, and of you shall they cause to be put to death. And you shall be hated of all for my name's sake, but there shall not a head of your head perish. And patience possess your souls. When you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is near. Then let them which are in Yehuda flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the country enter therein too, for the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them which are with child, to them which give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and they shall be led away captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the time of the Gentile be fulfilled. That's exactly what he told them in Ezekiel 12, and he told them that in Ezekiel 5. Because he said you'll be led away captive. See, some people say that's the sign of trouble. That's the great tribulation. No, it ain't. That's what Ezekiel told you was going to happen. And he said it would be a sign. He said that prince is going to go into captivity for removing, and that's going to be a sign that you're going to leave. So when Yahushua went into captivity, Matthew 27, that was their sign if they knew the book that they were finna leave. That's why let me read it Luke 19 to you before I read it Matthew 27. Let me read it Luke 19 to you. Let me make sure I'm in the right spot with it. No. That ain't what I want. That ain't what I want. Hold on. That is not what I want. Yeah. Luke 13. That's what I want. It was right behind what we read in Luke 13 earlier. 13 and 34. Oh, almost trapped this did. O Jerusalem, which killed the prophets and stoned them which are sent unto you. How often would I have gathered your sons together as a hen her brood under wings, and you would not? Behold, your house is left unto you desolate, and truly I say unto you, you shall not see me until the time come when you shall see Baruch is he that come in the name of Yahuwah. That wasn't the main one I wanted, but I used it. It worked with it. Come over to Matthew, I think. That's why I'm thinking Matthew 19 when I'm thinking about it. But I need the one where he wept. That's what I need. And now you know what I'm thinking? That page ain't in my book no more, and that's what throwing me off. Yep, that's exactly what it was, because that page ain't in my book no more, and that was throwing me off. Luke 19 and 41. Yep. That's what was throwing me off. Luke 19 and 41. And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it, saying, if you had known, even you, at least in this your day, the things under your shalom, but now they are hid from your eyes. For the day shall come upon you that your enemy shall cast a trench about you and compass you round and keep you in on every side. And they shall lay you even with the ground and your children within you. And they shall not leave in you one stone upon another, because you knew not the time of your visitation. Let's look at John 11 and 5, my man. Still right here, man. I make it very full, man. When Yahushua heard, he said, this sickness is not unto death, but for the esteem of Elohim, that the son of Elohim might be esteemed thereby. Now Yahushua loved Martha and her sister Lazarus. And when he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days still in the same place where he was. Then after that, he said to the disciples, let us go into Yehuda again. Disciples said unto him, Master, the Yahudim of late have sought to stone you, and you go hither again. Yahushua answered, are they not 12 hours in the day? If any man walk in the day, he stumbled not, because he see the light of this world. But if a man walk in the night, he stumbled, because there is no light in him. And see, that's why they didn't know, because they were walking in darkness, because they were walking in sin, which means they were walking in death. Because death is a state of darkness. We just talked about that. You ain't got no thoughts. You ain't seeing nothing. You ain't doing nothing. That's why they didn't know. Just like Brews don't know now. You know how many Brews don't even realize that Ezekiel was talking about the captivity that Yahushua was talking about? Why is Ezekiel talking about people getting put out the land when they were already out the land when he was talking about it? They don't even, just ask them men that, like, hey, bro, what is Ezekiel talking about here? They were already in captivity. Why is he talking about they going in that captivity in Ezekiel chapter 12? Why is he saying a third for the pestilence, a third for the sword, and a third for captivity in Ezekiel 5? Why is he talking about that, bro? He's in Babylon. You should ask the men that. You ain't got to come tell me the answers. Ask the men that. But don't ask nobody that till you actually examine Ezekiel 12 and you actually examine Ezekiel 5. And then you look at Luke 21 and you look at Matthew 24. And then you look at Daniel. And you look in Jeremiah when he say you're going to be in Babylon 70 years. When you look at these things and examine these things and see like, okay, he's talking about a particular time period for the rebuilding of the wall for Mashiach, because that's what Nehemiah was doing. Nehemiah was rebuilding the wall and rebuilding the temple for Mashiach to come, for him to fulfill that Daniel 9 and 24, man, to make an end of sins, to finish transgression, to make reconciliation for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, so that you could get this escape from death and therefore live forever. But nobody want to talk about that. We want to talk about who is Israelite. We want to talk about a Trinity. I don't give a damn about a Trinity, man. I don't care about proving to nobody I'm an Israelite. I don't care about none. I don't care about if Joseph was the daddy. I don't care about that, man. If you want to believe Joseph made the Lord, then believe it then. You know what I'm talking about? But I got enough sense to know Yahuwah can create a man by a word. He did it once and he did it again. See, they supposed to know when he created Adam by a word, that was a sign. That's why when he told you in that Isaiah 7, see, they missed that point. See, let's take a look at Isaiah 7 since I said it. I told you I have no restraints on time this evening, not now. Let me read the Matthew 27, man, to show you how he went in captivity. Hold on, I got your service, man. Let me read the Matthew 27. He said, when the morning was come, this is 27:1. When the morning was come, all the chief priests and the elders, the people took counsel against Yahushua to put him to death. And when they had bound him, because he's going into captivity, they led away and delivered him to Pontius Pilate, the governor. See, they supposed to know when they took Yahushua and put him in jail, locked him up like they locked up Jeremiah, because they had Jeremiah in bonds too. And he said, man, you can do whatever you want to me, but just know if you do it to me, you done shed innocent blood. They supposed to peep the scene. Boy, that's the prince in Ezekiel 12. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. But they miss the sign, because the sign is the word. And since they don't know the word, they always miss the signs. Remember, the sign is a miraculous event, man, a wondrous event. How is it a wondrous event for a man to ejaculate in a woman's vagina? What's wondrous about that? Micah 3:5. Thus saith Yahuwah concerning the prophets that make my people err, that bite with their teeth and cry shalom, he that put into their mouths, and they even prepare war against them. Therefore night be unto you, that ye shall have not a vision, and it shall be dark unto you, and you shall not divine. And the sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. Then shall the seers be ashamed, and the diviners confounded. They shall cover their lips for no answer of Elohim. But truly I am full of power, and by the Ruach of Yahuwah of judgment of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgression, and to Yasharal his sin, which is what Daniel 9:24 is about, because we know that he came to destroy the works of the devil and to deliver them through all their lifetime who were under bondage of death. He came to set you free. So you think the story about you coming out of Egypt is just about a liberation story of a people. It would come to show you that was a sign to show you how he would liberate you from your true oppressor, which is death, which really had you in bondage. Man, you ever met a man who was caught up in his lust, man? Do you understand the bondage that comes with that? Have you ever seen a woman who was caught up in pleasure? You ever seen a crackhead, man? You ever seen a junkie, man? You ever seen somebody who really been in bondage to sin, man? You ever seen how they are slave to their desires, and you think that just means nothing? That's not the same as being enslaved to the nations. He put you enslaved to the nations so you could understand that you were enslaved to sin. You serve sin, so serve sinners. That's a sign and you missed it. Hear this, I pray you, you heads of the house of Jacob, and you princes of Yasharal, that abhor judgment and pervert all equity. They build up Zion with blood and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire, and the prophets divine for money. And they that will they lean upon Yahuwah and say, is not Yahuwah among us, and no evil can come upon us? Therefore shall Zion for all your sakes be plowed as a field. Jerusalem shall become heaps. The mountains of the house as high as the places of the forest. He telling you what's going to happen. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you. Come over here to Isaiah 7, man. He said, yeah, man, I'm going to kill you, man. Because dudes argue all day. He was born to sex. Okay, bro. I don't even see why people argue that point. Who cares? Let them believe what they want. Who cares? You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to pick it up 7:10, man. Moreover, Yahuwah spake again unto Ahaz, ask you for a sign of Yahuwah, your Elohim. Ask it either in the depth or in the height above. So he said, ask him for a sign in the grave or in heaven. Remember what he said? He took captivity captive and gave gifts to men. See, let me show you something. See, it's the beauty of the word, man. It's all the same word. It's just goofballs and dummies don't know that, so they just be running their mouth. But see, come over here to Romans 10, man. Just look what he says. Romans 10:6. We'll make it 4. For Hamashiach is the purpose of the law for righteousness to everyone that believes. For Moses described the righteousness which is of the law, that the man which do those things shall live by them. But the righteousness which is of faith speak on this wise, say not in your heart, who shall ascend into Shamahim, that is to bring a Mashiach down, or who shall descend into the deep, that is to bring up a Mashiach again from the dead. But what say it? The word is near you, in your mouth and in your heart. That is the word of faith which we preach. If you shall confess with your mouth the Lord Yahushua and believe in your heart that Elohim have raised him from the dead, you shall be saved. For with the heart man believe unto righteousness, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. For the scriptures say, whosoever believe on him shall not be ashamed. That's what the book say. That's what the book say. That's what it say. You know what I'm talking about? Book say Abraham believed in Yahuwah. Amen, brother Herbert, man. And he counted it to him for righteousness. That's what the book say. Now come back to this Isaiah 7, man, and look how Ahaz responded. I'm going to read 10 again. Moreover, Yahuwah spake again unto Ahaz, saying, ask you a sign of Yahuwah, your Elohim. Ask it either in the depth or in the height above. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tempt Yahuwah. He said, man, I'm not going to try Yahuwah talking about show me a sign. You see the mind that Ahaz had? That's not the mind that a lot of men got. If Yahuwah would have said, ask me for a sign, well, a lot of people would have asked for it. A lot of people would have said, show me a sign, man. Show me. I want to see a sign so I can believe. You know what I'm talking about? That's what a lot of people would have did, man. And you got to sit back and look at it. Ahaz was wicked as hell. He was evil as all outdoors. There wasn't no righteous man. But he had enough sense know not to do that. See, Brew don't want to talk about that, man. They don't want to talk about that, man. So when we got signed, what do you got? Again, you got oaths. This is a miraculous sign. A miracle, proof. Let's look what he said. But Ahaz, this is Isaiah 7:12. But Ahaz said, I will not ask, neither will I tell you. He said, hear you now, O house of David, a small thing for you to weary men, but will you weary my Elohim also? Therefore the Lord himself shall give you a sign. Behold, a virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and you shall call his name Emmanuel. That man said, I'm going to give you a miracle. Now ask yourself this question. How is it a miracle for a virgin woman to have a baby? Is that not the standard operating procedure? Because every woman should be a virgin on the day she get married. Righteously, that's how it's supposed to be. Oh, that's a woman of marriageable age. That man said this is a sign. That means this is an oath. This is a miraculous event that he is telling you. This is a sign. Now, of course, y'all know what Emmanuel means. Muffin, you know what Emmanuel means? No. Would you like to know? It'll cost you $45.15. I only take cash, no card or check. Emmanuel means Elohim is with us, or with us is God. So when you hear Emmanuel, it means that God would dwell with you, that he would be with us. That's what's let us know that Yahushua is Yahuwah, and Yahuwah is Yahushua, and Yahushua is Elohim, because he was with us. That's how you know that there's no way that God can be with us and come through the sperm of a man, because Elohim cannot come through the sperm of a man. Then, of course, also they should know that there's, of course, people who don't believe that Yahushua is Elohim are going to have a problem with what I'm about to say. But see, we know this from our law that anywhere where seed is laid, it's unclean. So there's no way that Yahuwah himself can actually come through an unclean womb, because if a man is ejaculated in that woman's womb is defiled. He can't come through that. Of course, we know that Adam was made from virgin soil. That soil had never been tilled. No seed had ever been dropped in that soil. There was no man to till it. There was no man to work it. There was no man to put seed in it for it to be defiled. But see, a lot of people don't understand that, because the righteous Abba, they have not known you. That's what the Lord said. You don't know your God, so you don't know the standard. I don't even know why this is hard to understand, that he could create a man by a word when he created Adam by one, and that we're created to be the sons and daughters of Elohim by a word. Why is this hard to understand? Because you don't believe the book. That's why. Verse 15, butter and honey shall he eat, that he may know to refuse the evil and choose the good. But before the child shall know to refuse the evil and choose the good, for the land that you abhor shall be forsaken of both her kings. This is the sign also. Before this man know how to choose between good and evil, to know to refuse evil and pick that which is good, there will be no kings in the kingdom of Yasharal. Now, this is where you're going to come into a problem, because the particular man and woman who birthed this particular child that Isaiah was speaking of in the natural, the land hadn't been forsaken of both of her kings. There was still a king in Judah. There was still a king in Jerusalem. Because Isaiah was gone by the time that Zechariah left to go to Babylon. See, this is a sign. So when Yahushua came through Mary, what king was in Israel and what king was in Judah? Don't worry, I'll wait. Who can tell me what king was in Israel and Judah at the time of Mashiach's birth? Because he said the land would be forsaken of both of her kings. What is forsaken? It is azab, to leave, to forsake, to depart, to leave behind, to let alone, to abandon, to apostatize, to neglect, to be deserted. I think we talked about what an apostate is. I want you to get to the specific English definition for apostate, for those who don't know. To be an apostasy or an apostate is an abandonment or rejection of the word. All right, and King Herod wasn't no brute. The land was forsaken of both of her kings. Both kings in the land of Yasharal had rejected belief in Yahuwah. Remember, Yasharal never had a righteous king. And Zechariah was the last king of Yehuda, and he was evil as all outdoors. And as Stanley said, there were no kings ruling. Herod was a Roman. The land was forsaken of both her kings, just like Ezekiel told you. Just like Isaiah telling you, and that's the sign. The sign is the word. See, they knew the word well enough to know he's supposed to come out of Bethlehem. It never said anything about the Messiah coming out of Nazareth, out of Galilee. They knew that sign, but they stupid behind didn't pick up on the sign that, hey man, ain't no king in the land, bro. But let me start right here, man, before I have y'all on here till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Hey, hallelujah for Yahushua, Baruch be Ab and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua, man. Let you who is mighty and Kadah's name be esteemed continually. Let the manifestation of everlasting salvation and the escape from death that Abba has given unto us, let that be preached and promoted unto all men throughout all the earth for everlasting redemption. And let his name be esteemed through the redemption of your Redeemer, Yahushua HaMashiach, continually. I Baruch y'all like the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Prayerfully, you got something to weigh and consider. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah willing. Yahuwah willing, man. If there is power, internet, and things of that nature, then we'll go live tomorrow also. Yes, sir, man. I appreciate that, bro. You know what I'm saying? But when I sat back and looked at the time period of what they said the storm was, man, I wasn't gonna cut you short. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm like, you know what? Why even risk playing with the storm? You know what I'm talking about? When I can just do it the day before. You know what I'm talking about? And if we get a back-to-back, then bro, pray be to Yahuwah. You know what I'm talking about? Nevertheless, though, you know what I'm saying? Y'all willing, we'll be back tomorrow. But if not, Shabbat it is. But you know, just weigh and considering we got a lot of things, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as signs is concerned. It's like I said, boy, the sign is the word. And Yahushua was the fulfillment of the sign. The sign is the word. Signs are for those who don't believe. So when you see Yahushua say, you see me and believe, but blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. That means you believe the wondrous act that was spoken of without laying your eyes on it. So that shows forth how prophecy is for those who believe. And at the same token, the signs and the word are still coming together as one, confirming the word. And for all of you on here, whether on Clubhouse, on this live stream, or who had the patience, endurance to go 3 hours to hear it to this particular point of the video, to hear this here. If you believe and you ain't seen, boy, blessed be you in the name of Yahushua. I pray that this man quicken you with his word, with his judgment, with his loving kindness, and enrich you with the peace that surpasses all understanding, and fill you with the Ruach HaKodesh on the everlasting life. If you don't believe, I pray you repent so that you can believe and that you might receive the gift of life through the man word. You know what I'm saying? Hey, amen, bro. We appreciate that. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say to you, man. But as I said before, man, I think I told y'all a couple years back during the tabernacle, man, that what was on to pretty much go in that second half of that year. That might have been 2018, 2019. I can't remember more. That the focus was to be a son of Elohim. That had always been the focus. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about like zero in, locked in, like that. You know what I'm talking about? Now the focus, like the zero in, locked in, as we approaching the back half of the year, man, is the promoting, pushing, esteeming, honoring, and exalting the deliverance from sin and death that Yahuwah has given unto us through being Emmanuel and dwelling with us to give us the gift of life through his life by laying his life down. You know what I'm talking about? And where Yahuwah belong the issues from death, and that's what type of time we on, man. You know what I'm talking about? His fourth is pushing and promoting that very, very hard on the back half of the year going into Tabernacles. So again, I bless y'all the house of Yahuwah in the name of Yahushua, man. Appreciate y'all, man. Yahuwah willing, man. We'll be back tomorrow. And if not, y'all willing on the Shabbat. And until that time, Clubhouse, if y'all